Hi everybody and welcome back to StorytellerSpira's channel, playing New Orleans by Night, our current and ongoing Vampire the Masquerade campaign. How is everybody tonight? Chat, how are you? How are my players? How's everybody?
I'm doing fantastic. Well, not really, but I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome.
That's all I want to hear.
I'm excited. I'm stoked.
Good.
I'm also really digging the art that is up there.
Yeah,
I didn't know you
so
got
everybody
everything.
that's watching, our lovely elvish dame who's been responsible for all of our illustrated character designs and my banner as well, finished up all of our PCs, all of our player characters. So you can see there in the middle, going from top left to the right, and then same for the second row. We have Elvish Dame's Dinah, the Toreador. We have Hopeless Entree's Rebecca, the Cult of Ecstasy Mage. We have Super Chocolate Bear's Luther, another Toreador. We have Koznark's Theo, the Semeti. Then Modi Ansos's Bjorn, the Gangrel, in the middle of the second row. And last but not least, we have Zabani's Abraham with his two dogs, his Basset Hound Mars and his Greyhound Mercury. Amazing art, super great. And if you saw during the stream starting soon thing, Elvish is actually open for commissions for right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, like years from now, maybe not, but currently she is. So yeah, how is everybody doing? How's your last week?
It's
I got
going.
sick. That was good.
Hey! I might have gotten sick because most of the day I had a headache and was nauseated, so that's nice that that's not happening at this moment.
That's
I'm
good.
sorry. I had to put on makeup for this stream because I was just at home desperately finishing the art all day in just sweatpants and crap. So now, like, I had to get professional, you know.
I had to because I wanted to. There's no other reason.
No, it's definitely because I wanted to. That's fair.
I'm super duper excited to play with Theo again, like personally, and also Bjorn. Like those two, I miss them.
Talk amongst yourselves for a second. I need to change this shirt. It's too warm down here.
Yeah, I miss Theo and Bjorn also.
I'm glad we are loved and missed.
You guys miss me win my wager, so I needed more of an audience.
Again, Abraham doesn't care. He just wanted you invested.
I care, and that's what matters.
That's okay. I care for you. I mean, a little.
I was very surprised at what your boon was. Your boon was just to make sure Rebecca was K by any vampires in the Camarilla for like forever. I was like, what the? That's great.
I'm not complaining.
What a great dude.
Right? What a sweet guy.
You seemed genuinely worried about dying, and he was like, I guess we can handle that.
You know what Dinah would have asked for?
I am really sorry because she's really bad at receiving compliments.
Oh, no, see, Abraham would have just held on to it for later.
I probably would have had like a flock of chickens knighted.
That's nice. I like that one. That's good.
Can we knight things?
It doesn't matter to Theo. The prince is probably like, okay, get me a sword.
You think the prince doesn't? I would hope.
I would think he has one. Maybe he just wants to make Theo's life more difficult.
That could be a thing also.
That's a fair... I mean, Theo doesn't exactly make anyone else's life easy, so...
I feel like the prince is a little bit more like he wants to keep his life, meaning the prince, nice and simple, so he would just give Theo a sword and tell him, the chickens are over there, go that way, please leave me alone.
I would assume Theo would ask for like a ceremony, not just like...
Oh, Theo would be insisting that the chickens get clothing, the prince show up, and then Theo wouldn't show up.
So the big question is, do you think you're gonna get Hope to pull a cat out of a hat today?
I think we're gonna have to work at it, but it's going to happen.
If you pull a cat out of a hat, does it just like, how does that work for its memories and what it is? Like,
No, it's
No,
not a
it's
cat.
not.
It's got to be
It
her
depends.
cat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends.
familiar.
Is the answer to that.
Go to hell.
But am I wrong though?
I'm not gonna answer that.
All right. That sounds good. And yes, we're gonna have some cats and hats and all kinds of other good fun this evening. God damn it. Anyway, last week we'll just cut it in post. Last week, everyone finished up at the party that was designed to attract some technocracy mages. And some of the big highlights were that Rebecca is pretty sure she spotted a couple and did put a tracer on one of them and found out later she had the same done to her. One of her earrings had a supernatural tracer to follow her that she immediately turned to quintessence and fed to her cat, like you do. And then went and met up with the rest of the kindred to check and see if they, or at least Luther, Abraham, and Dinah from the party, to check and make sure that they didn't also have any tracers locked onto any of their clothing or anything like that. She didn't see any signs, so she feels okay. Luther returned to Prince Marcel, saying he had information and a location for 2 technocracy mages, or at least the one. He knows where the one went at the end of the night to his hotel room. And Marcel was quite impressed and asked him what boon, what favor he would like to ask of the prince's household. And Luther, the sweetheart that he is, said that he wanted protection for Rebecca going forward as things potentially progress, maybe get worse, more technocrats come out of the woodwork, that sort of thing. So Rebecca now has extra protection under the prince's watchful eye as Mardi Gras continues. Theo and Bjorn were previously meeting up with a couple, Guru, Lupin, whatever you want to call them, out along puppies along a stretch of a nearby bayou. And it didn't go great, but it didn't go too bad either. The Lupin seemed just very upset, as was understood, with the way the kindred are moving into more and more territories, spreading closer and closer to what was supposed to be deemed Guru territory. But Theo and Bjorn didn't really make anything worse, and at least started a line of communication with 2 Lupin who were willing to speak. Well, they were on their way to try and check out that party. They respectively got busy. I never exactly worked out what they did. They just got busy. Theo wandered off, and Bjorn decided he didn't feel like dealing with a loud crowd that evening. You know, maybe a Viking and all, but sometimes you just gotta have some quiet Viking time to yourself. I forget where you said you lived.
Sorry, did you say Theo or Bjorn?
Bjorn.
Okay, I heard Theo in my head. Yeah, I have a small studio, somewhere French district, quarter, whatever they call it.
And he's also welcome in all of my places as well.
So, either of you, maybe Bjorn, would you immediately reach out to anybody in the group that had gone to the party, or would you just follow up later?
How far did we retcon this?
It was still like the same night. You guys just never made it to the party.
But like,
Did I ever get Rebecca's worrying call about how she's going to die?
Yes.
Then yes, Theo would reach out and make sure she did not, in fact, die.
I think it was still essentially the same night, or we can at least say it is, that Rebecca met with Luther, Abraham, and Dinah to double check that they didn't have any tracers on them, because she discovered hers immediately, so she would want to check and see what they were wearing. That's right, yes, because Dinah decided she was not burning her dress. God damn it, she had it from the 60s, she was keeping it. Theo, whatever you wound up getting up to on your way to the party, you would then check your cell phone and get the message from Rebecca that she might die, maybe? And Bjorn, if you were either with Theo, you would hear the message, or if you did trail off on your own, you would just know that the mission was still at hand.
Yeah, if I probably would have trailed off on my own before any of that, but still immediately, once I've been going off and taking care of my business, I would have sent out texts to Dinah and probably Abraham and Luther as well, not Rebecca. But yeah, the three of them, I definitely would have sent out a text just like, how are things going?
Alright, well, Theo, you got the message from Rebecca, so...
I probably would have checked that she wasn't dead, and when she is not dead, unless I missed something last week.
I was saying it's still kind of the same night if you want to go and see her, or if you just want to make this downtime.
Yeah, we'll just pick up wherever everyone is later. But yeah, I'm sure it's a weird conversation of her being like, "Oh my God, I could have died," and him being like, "Yeah, but you're alive. I don't understand. I told you you'd be fine. You're fine. I don't get it."
In that case, we're basically going to skip another week and land on the Monday night before Fat Tuesday proper. As usual, I'd just like to know whatever any of you might absolutely want to make sure you took care of, any thing with businesses, people you want to follow up with in cases of one or two of you, your sire, anything like that.
Theo heard something crazy. He heard the kids, like the kids around town talking about GoatFundMe, and he's now paying one of these youngins to set up a GoatFundMe for his goats that he adopted. And that's probably what he's been doing this week, and trying to hunt down more technocracy mages now that he knows they're actually here. He's telling everyone to be extra wary of magic in the area, and to let him know if they're approached by anyone, Setite or otherwise, about magic.
I have a couple of parades that I need to get to with my dogs, because that's what's important right now.
Also, he probably did accost you to donate to his GoToFundMe page.
You owe me, but fine.
Perfect. All right. Yes, Abraham is a part of one local crew that is designed around dogs and including their dogs in the parades. So he would be working to make sure, as a crew member, KREWE, part of the organization setting up the parade, that everything's going smoothly, maybe throwing some money at it if it needs any, if anything needs repairs.
But most importantly, dressing up my dogs in stupid costumes that they kind of hate and having them walk in a parade.
Do you remember the name of the crew?
The crew of Barkus.
Yes. A lot of crews are named after, like, Greek gods and mythology things. Not that Barkus is anything as far as I'm concerned, but you can get the theme there. What's the theme this year? I actually looked up a few of them for 2018, but you can tell me what the Crew of Barkus theme is if you want. You can make it up.
I mean, I'm kind of into the idea because of something that Elvish Dame did not recently or not too long ago was a Game of Thrones theme.
Oh yeah, I think that was this year. I saw some
yes.
I saw some animated little things of it, and yeah, people were dressing up their dogs. I'm pretty sure that was that crew. So, all right, Abraham, are you a fan of Game of Thrones, Abraham?
It's a lot of an investment, but he probably has it in the background while he's doing investment things. So he kind of knows it.
All right.
You adorable nerd.
I mean, he's just going over his stocks. He's gotta have something on.
Yeah.
All right. Following up then with Luther. Anything specific you'd be worried about over the next coming week?
He would probably try and gamble his car for a better car. Of course, a 2-seater. He refuses to get anything with more than 2 doors.
I really gotta come up with a good kind of like luck roll for you since you're gonna be doing so much gambling.
I'm just keeping it to 1 gambling thing per time jump.
I like it. All right. How about you, Dinah?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
She's probably going to be performing again. At the moment, though, she is more trying to help organize probably the parade. She probably has a big hand in that, so.
Absolutely. And Bjorn, what do you do over a week?
The usual. Get drunk at taverns and listen to the taverns, bars, and enjoy the just people watching. Basically, is kind of the hobby of his. Would try to tell some stories and find some inebriated people and enjoy himself. And yeah, especially during a week like this with everything going on. As far as that, he would also be looking to find some time to meet with the prince.
All right. And last but not least, Rebecca, our mage. Obviously, you sometimes have a little more kind of maintenance, just things you gotta keep up on. You also had a bit of a strange run-in with your avatar at the club. Have you spoken with him / her?
Not unless they have reached out to her, but really her focus has been more. Well, Abraham gave her a place hotel as of last session because of the whole trace and reverse trace, and so she will be spending most of her time trying to scry her own house for life and see if anything has arrived.
All right. No, your avatar, Ambrosia, does seem quiet, and it comes off more in a way that's a parent who said you come to me when you want to talk, and being quiet and supportive, but not bothering you too much. And so over the next couple days, you take a couple trips back to your regular apartment, just trying to look for anything. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. There's certainly no physical break-ins or any mismanagement of the place, and you don't really feel anything either. It doesn't seem like if that man from the club is trying to trail you, that they've been trying to find you at your apartment.
Okie doke. Yeah, but I mean, other than that, go to a node, fill up, and give cat quintessence, just general maintenance.
Excuse me.
Oh,
I used to whether it be a long silence when my brain was trying to exit out some dust. Alright, so it's been another week since last episode, which wrapped up the party that Dinah was throwing. It was essentially the weekend before the Fat Tuesday weekend. That whole weekend starts building and getting crazier and crazier and crazier every night. Monday, before Fat Tuesday, or Mardi Gras, is known as Lundi Gras. Lundi Gras. And it kind of starts everything off. So in particular, the Zulu Social Aid Pleasure Club crew, a very older one and predominantly African American, but not solely, as well as the crew of Rex, another one of the first crews from New Orleans that, parade and do parties during Mardi Gras. They parade throughout the day, and then by evening they'll throw a couple parties. In the case of the crew of Rex, that's more of a membership only party, but the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club is much more open and welcoming to all kinds of people. It travels throughout kind of the French Quarter, goes through Canal Street and the general locations. Following that, you'll get the Proteus Parade, another one of the crews that has sort of a mythological background, as well as the Orpheus crew, which is a bit of a newer one, and it's focused heavily around music. What's up?
As a note, I just realized I also, way earlier, said that I would be a member of the crew of Rex. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because that one came around about 15 years after I was embraced.
Yes. So of course you can't parade with them during the day,
Yeah.
but you can easily arrive for the late evening party.
Yeah.
So back to the basic details. The Orpheus crew kind of leads out into the evening, and let's see. I think I have a picture of theirs this year. There we go. So the crew of Orpheus had a nice big kind of train float that started off the evening festivities during Lundi Gras. And this crew travels through mainly St. Charles Avenue. So there's Canal Street and St. Charles Avenue are two of the biggest routes for parades, especially on Monday. Now, as I said, all of you, several of you are actually involved with local crews and parades, and the rest of you would probably just want to go out and enjoy the precursor big celebration before Fat Tuesday. Let's see if I got something more lively. We'll use this one for now. Call back to New York.
Oh, also, I keep saying nothing about it. I just decided, but I had actually decided I'm going to go and never said anything. Dinah would absolutely be in the crew of Iris.
Okay.
The all-female one from, I think, the 20s. But she hasn't been in it since the 20s. She's been in it since, the 50s.
No problem. So that sounds good. Since they're, are they music-based, or is it just that it's a female-focused crew?
It's just that it's an all-female crew.
Okay. But I feel like maybe once the Iris crew finishes, she might want to go maybe see the Orpheus as well, since it's a music-oriented
oh, sure,
crew.
yeah, absolutely.
They end their trail at the end of St. Charles Avenue, and it's a big musical, big to-do, just all kinds of, just a huge party that erupts where they finish up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, All right, so Abraham, you are at the party with the crew of Rex, Now, compared to certain other parties and parades and ongoings this Monday night, the Crew of Rex, while there's drinking and partying, is much more prestigious. People dress up very nicely. Oftentimes, they even do more of a ball style aesthetic to it, you know, big dresses and nice suits, that sort of thing. So compared to some of the more wild, extravagant, flowery colored parties, this one has a little bit of a more just a prestigious attitude to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will not be going as Abraham, because Abraham is kind of a hobo. I will be going as my alternate identity, Marcus.
Okay, good to know.
Because he's the billionaire CEO.
Alright.
So, like, one of the few times that I am clean-shaven wearing unnecessarily expensive clothes.
Alright. Do you take Mars and Mercury in their costumes to the party?
That is highly inappropriate, and Marcus is anything but inappropriate.
Understood. So you don't take the puppies at all?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So on your way to the Crew of Rex gathering kind of ball, you're walking through the streets, you're in your identity as Marcus. So Marcus, I assume, in a very fine suit?
Unnecessarily expensive.
Alright, so
like dressing down into Armani if I must.
So as you begin traveling through, you see the very obvious sights. The floats and the parade members are dressed in a mix of both the traditional Mardi Gras colors, purple, green, and gold, as well as really every color under the sun. There are so many different themes, and well, it seems like, nothing fits at the same time. It all fits together perfectly because it's Mardi Gras. And of course, you pass through different groups. So there are, maybe even cocktail lounges that have people slightly closer dressed to you. They're more celebratory of the actual holiday, and they're trying to, be a bit reverent to what it means to the city, maybe even to them religiously, as it is technically a religious holiday. And then, of course, you pass through the swaths of college kids drunk off their asses, people puking in the side of the road, and plastic cups being, thrown here and there. As you pass by, you notice one person who stumbles by and very, very obviously is intoxicated on far more than alcohol. Not really crazy. There's definitely plenty of people who pop into a public restroom and take something else. But they seem a little extra out of it. It's difficult for them to really focus. And they're kind of just wandering around, but not really too out of the ordinary.
Alright.
So you arrive at the Crew of Rex party, and you're welcomed in with your membership, and a few people, shake your hand and grab you by the shoulder and ask you how you've been.
Yeah. Fantastic.
It's a pleasure to see you here. So, tell us, what have you been up to? What are your most recent ventures?
And again, I will, as the same, there is some diabetes research that I've been working with lately. I believe I'm not actually terribly informed as to what they do, but I know that they have been making me great dividends.
Wonderful, wonderful. Popping over to, let's say, Dinah. You're traveling along with this crew of Iris. It's a female-centric crew, and a lot of these organizations not only have specific themes to them, but will also, in this case, have what's the word I'm looking for? Special demographics, specific ethnicity or women or, that sort of thing. So this crew in particular have focused this year on a theme about flowers and really doing up the themes and metaphors and representative aspects of different flowers. So each member of the crew picked one and, focused their outfit and mask on it. And especially if it related to something idealistic, they would try to incorporate that as well. And then their float, kind of combined all of them. So, what flower would Dinah have picked?
I mean, she is in the Iris crew,
Alright.
so probably an Iris.
Alright, so that crew makes its way through the streets as Canal Street and St. Charles Avenue are led by some of the larger crews. She would be somewhere in the mix. Not like at the end, somewhere in the middle. Just traveling along. Very similar to Abraham, you're going to pass through different crowds. Some that are, dressed a little nicer. And then other ones that are absolute tourists, just wearing, t-shirt and jeans, covered in beads, all that kind of fun stuff. It's really quite a sight to see the way the throng of the mass just moves almost like a wave, and you can't even really keep your eye on one face for too long as people move around. So your crew is continuing along. Bjorn? Did you have a specific area you wanted to hit, or are you just going to be following through the crowds?
There is in the back of my mind the whole time of making sure no supernatural does anything too out of line, I guess. So kind of wandering around as much as possible and trying to be moving a lot, and so that I can get a good glimpse of what's going on in the entire area, while thoroughly enjoying myself at the same time. So.
Alright. And let me just check something real quick. Alright, we will come back to you. I want to finish asking, Theo, what are you going to get up to on the Monday night before Fat Tuesday?
He'll probably mingle where he can with all these different groups. Obviously, he's very, very, very involved in Mardi Gras, so he probably knows some people everywhere. And he'll just kind of like hit the stops, making sure to wherever Abraham is, that he goes to where their club is with a goat on a rope and knocks and asks for Abraham and says, "Sir, your goat is here," and bows deeply and leaves the goat.
Do you leave and run, or do you wait for someone to actually say, someone here asked for a goat?
No, he's gonna say, whoever answers the door, he's just gonna say, "This is Abraham's goat," and leave.
So the man who, responds, looks down at the goat and at you, and are you in mask, or are you just going to...
I'm in mask, though. I'm not gonna...
give me a roll then. Let's see how pretty you make yourself for the rest of the night.
You didn't tell me there would be rolling, I quit!
Your life is so hard!
Must never change.
have to log into Roll20 like I played this game or something?
That's fine. I'm gonna make this the one roll just to mess with him. Like, no other rolls the rest of the night.
Alright, Kos, you heard it. No rolls for the rest of the night, so try and do the craziest shit possible, because you're gonna get away with it.
Like, it's all ones and then 110, so it's just barely not a botch. Let's see what our lovely zombie man looks like. 2 successes. You can do any kind of basic disguise. You can't really change your height or weight. You can't change anything about gender, but you also don't have to look ugly. You can look kind of about average to maybe a little bit pretty, maybe.
No. He would just look like him. Like, just, not obviously a zombie.
Not obviously
pre-embrace Theo, basically.
Yeah, maybe a little rough for the wear, though.
He does have syphilis now, and it's done a number to him.
So
To be
imagine
fair, he had syphilis then as well.
So imagine this, but a lot less gross is basically what we're working with for the rest of the night. Unless it drops, but for now you'll be able to hold it. So Theo arrives at the party where the crew of Rex is, drops off a goat with the doorman, who looks very strangely at Theo. Excuse me, sir, I don't understand what you're talking about.
That's very, very, very important. This goat must reach Abraham. He's expecting it. If it doesn't happen, he'll probably buy out this whole block and condemn the place. This goat is very important. Do you understand? Sir, do you understand?
I will try and... What was his last name?
The goats?
No, sir. Sir, I'm... This Abraham you're looking for.
Oh, what's his... Marcus, probably, I don't know.
Abraham does not have a last name. Like he has never spoken to you with a last name in the 200 years that you've known each other.
Oh, I know. He forgot that sometimes you go hoity-toity, but he would know about that. Marcus. First name, last, I don't... The goat is Abraham. I'm giving the goat to Marcus. Also, you will call him Sir Abraham, if you please.
And the guy kind of starts to close the door and also turns to look at some other guy that's standing next to him and starts whispering to him, do you have any idea?
I'm going to grab the door and push real fucking hard.
Excuse me, sir. And there is a nice buff bodyguard that starts walking toward this whole scene.
Please, I have so important. Just, do you know Marcus? He's here. Do you look like just you still, right? Just a fancy version of Abraham?
Yeah. If I happen to be visible from the door, yes, I look like Abraham standing up straight in expensive clothes, clean shaven.
I'll describe Abraham to them so like they know.
So the bodyguard is heading your way, and the other two are still kind of trying to keep the door mostly closed, so you don't essentially let loose a goat in the party. But as you start describing Abraham / Marcus, they start looking around the party, and they notice who they think you might be talking about. The guy, not the doorman, but the other one that he was speaking with, runs off and grabs Marcus by the arm and starts speaking in a hushed tone that there's someone at the door with a goat for him.
Like I hate to ask the GM for a roll, but like it would take everything that I have to not just be like, fucking Christ, Theo. Like, so it would be very difficult for me not to just verbally, god damn it.
Well, I feel like that will be charisma expression to keep yourself essentially in character, it sounds like.
Versus 6?
Yeah.
This is about as perfect as I and Theo could have hoped for this to go.
Why do you hate me?
He loves you, that's why he does this. Listen, when you've been friends for 200 frigging years, you have to come up with new ways to entertain yourself.
And you've questioned every single one of those 200 years.
Oh, wow.
Well, look at you.
Holy shit. That is, for the viewers at home, that is 7 successes. I rolled 1 dice that wasn't a success.
Holy moly!
All right, Marcus, keep yourself under control and explain to this man how you're gonna deal with the situation.
I'm sorry, I have no idea what this man is talking about.
Are you gonna stay put?
Certainly, this is an insane vagrant trying to. Must have seen my face on the internet, and I don't know. Shoo him away.
The young man nods politely, understood, and rushes back to the door, basically whispering to the doorman, and not speaking directly to Theo, that the man he described doesn't understand what the situation is, who this person is, and would ask them to leave. The bodyguard, overhearing this, just begins...
As the bodyguard leaves, I am going to pull out my phone and text Theo, I hate you so much.
The bodyguard's actually moving toward the door to make sure it gets closed on the man with his goat.
But yeah, I will text Theo saying, I hate you so much.
How big is this bodyguard look?
6'1" and a good 250 pounds at least, 260.
I still have my hand like around the door, so I'm going to not push back at them, just resist letting it close for a moment. And I'm sure Abraham will hear faintly in the background, "You will rue the day you have crossed Abraham the goat! You will rue it, Marcus!" And I'll leave the goat and run.
The bodyguard slams the door closed, and you can even hear like his weight leaning against it as you run off, leaving that poor goat.
This is Mardi Gras. It's a goat. It's gonna do wonderful.
Somewhere across town, Luther, what have you gotten yourself up to?
Real quick, before we swap over,
Yeah,
I
no
will
problem.
find a bodyguard and say, make sure animal control gets their hands on that goat. I don't want it running amok.
Apparently, we have a goat to
Da-da-da.
save. So.
New mission, guys.
New mission, goat.
They've got your goat.
Oh, you so got my goat, and I hate it.
You son of a gun.
You are all welcome, all of you, from the bottom of my heart.
All right. So Luther, what are you up to?
He'd probably be hanging out with the crew as Zulu.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Now, yeah, they have a slightly more rowdy, fun party. There's still some prestige to it. The heads of the crew, monarchs as they're often called, are actually in more like suits. They're just purple and green and yellow and gold and just, more sequins and things than a regular suit might have. The rest of the people who have shown up either are members or know people or just really wanted to check out that crew's party.
Yeah. So he'd probably just be doing it for the hell of it. Just to have a day off and have some fun.
Perfect. All right, so both of those parties are sort of near each other because they ended in around the same area. They would just be kind of in different buildings. But most of all of the crews and parades that you guys were involved in or following are going to end near the tail end of St. Charles Avenue. Now, Rebecca, being a cult of ecstasy mage, this is, just your time of the year. And, do you think you would follow a crew or a specific parade, or would you go, bar hopping or something like that?
She will absolutely be amongst the rabble. I forgot to mention, she does work on, and it would have been up until this, or just through this week, not tonight, but she does work on gowns and shit, costumes for Mardi Gras balls and things like that on commission. But tonight being Lundi Gras, and therefore like a good reason to not work, she'll be just following the rabble.
As you move throughout the crowds, moving down maybe Canal Street part of the night, again, you're human, so you could even have gone to some of the earlier parades and seen a couple different parties, but they start heading towards St. Charles Avenue later into the evening. So at this time, you're moving throughout. I assume you're wearing one of your costumes?
Yep.
Any specific theme?
No.
So just big and colorful.
Like, it is absolutely 100% like reject things that didn't work for specific costumes that she has mashed together like a horrible Franken outfit.
I love it. Alright, as you move throughout the crowds, you are, you live here and you certainly have some random acquaintances, so maybe you see a face here or there that you sometimes see at clubs and things like that. But as you continue along, you do see two familiar faces. Hold on. Where are their pictures? Come on. I think... Oh, that's right. I'm under humans. So you see Francine, who prefers to go by Frankie, and Dorian. Both two young humans, or mages rather, who are both cult of ecstasy mages. These two tend to be attached at the hip. It's rare for you to really see one around town without the other, though you've maybe hung out with one of them individually if you just wanted to discuss perhaps, rituals and ideas and or maybe sit down and actually perform something using certain illicit ingredients. You know for a fact that these two definitely prefer to sometimes perform their rituals intoxicated one way or another.
Alrighty. No, like she smokes weed for fun. It's not really.
Okay, but if she's going to try and perform something, and can you tell us what she uses it for?
Usually shrooms or LSD, and it's for, in general, time-related effects.
So you see the two of them kind of hanging a little arm in arm, and both obviously have had a bit to drink. They're not smashed, but they definitely have had a few drinks, and they spot you moving through the crowd, both of them holding plastic cups with, looks like cheap, watery beer, and Frankie waves an arm to you. Hey, Rebecca!
Hey, Frankie! And she'll, beeline for him. Mm-hmm.
So Frankie, pulls you in and asks how your day's been going, how your night's been going, and if you might be looking for anything.
Well, it's just starting off. And yeah, sort of. I don't know if you've kept an eye out. I think I saw you guys at a party last week.
Yeah. I think we saw you there too. It was a small club, a little jazz party. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't know if you've how familiar are you with you guys who usually kind of float around those parties? I know that this is Mardi Gras, so it's not.
Frankie kind of just laughs, and then Dorian butts in to answer and says, "Well, we'll go to whatever seems like it might be worth an evening, anything that seems fun, and of course, if we can pick up anything there."
Do you remember maybe two of like the most boring looking people alive being at that party? I'm talking like the most exciting is maybe checkered socks.
Oops, that's not right. Alright, let's see. Frankie tilts her head trying to think back, and she nods and then looks at Dorian, who similarly takes a moment to think about it, but they both start nodding their heads and say, "Yeah, there were a couple kind of looked like they'd sooner make more sense standing in the gap as a mannequin than really at that party. Why?"
I've been trying to kind of keep an eye out for them. I think you should too. They're not maybe trustworthy people. And if you see them again, you should maybe keep an... Let others know.
Yeah, sure, of course. Have you seen them around other than that night?
No, just that night.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye out. Anything else we should know?
Don't try and get near them.
Frankie cocks an eyebrow up, is just there, and she looks around, realizing, they're surrounded by people, but it's loud as hell. She's, otherwise, I'm not yelling, but she's kind of, having to speak up pretty loud just to speak to you, but leans in closer to speak at a lower volume. Becca, what is this? Are you in trouble?
No, that's not, no, I don't know, but like, if you want to stay out of trouble, then avoid them.
All right, yeah.
Have you guys heard anything about, I don't know, the Garu in the area?
They both look at each other and then shake their head. No, we don't really keep up with their newsletters, but no, we haven't heard much from them. Why, are they acting up or something? Are those two guys?
No.
Okay.
No. But no, I heard that they might be getting, I guess, testy, so I wanted to know if you'd heard anything.
No, not that we can, recall, or I can, and Dorian shakes his head as well. No, I haven't heard anything, but, I mean, we'll keep an ear to the ground.
Alright, well, thanks. I want you to know that I've spent this whole time trying to think of a way to fit Frankie Dory into a sentence, and I can't. So I'm just gonna leave you guys to have a fun Lundi Gras.
They both laugh and, give you another kind of smaller, quick hug. And then as Frankie has her arm around you, says, hey, keep an eye out for... I just heard from someone else, but there's a couple people in more like gothic outfits than proper Mardi Gras. I heard they've got something interesting to offer. I haven't found any of them yet. I've been looking, but let me know if you see them.
Something interesting? Like, fun interesting?
That's what I've heard. Something different, at least.
Yeah, no, you said gothy outfits, I'll keep look out.
Yeah, I think like white and red, they said, which, and she waves an arms as you've got all colors here, but apparently they stood out a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'll look out.
All right. So they, they wave you off, and you see both of them kind of chug back the watery beer they were holding, and they continue moving through the crowd.
Yeah, no, she'll make her way through.
Yeah. Moving back to Bjorn, you said you were trying to especially keep an eye out for anything strange. Go ahead and give me a perception alertness roll. Just give me one for now.
Alrighty. Feels like it's been forever since I've rolled a dice on this thing. And I'm assuming just difficulty 6.
Yeah.
4 successes.
Also give me a perception medicine roll.
Alrighty. And that'll be 3 successes.
All right. Bjorn. As you're wandering throughout the night, trying to have fun, maybe have a drink with a couple humans here and there, but also keeping an eye out for anything that stands out, you begin to notice more and more people, definitely humans, walking around. They definitely seem like they've taken some kind of drug, which, as I'd mentioned earlier, doesn't seem all that strange during Mardi Gras, but it doesn't seem much like the typical recreational drugs that might be taken at outdoor events. At first you think maybe some people are taking LSD and that's why they seem so out of it, because they definitely are moving around. Their motor skills look a little off, and they seem to just be looking in directions without focus. But as you continue along and you see more and more of these, it's not a lot, and they're not even together. You're kind of picking out single pinpoints of people like this throughout the crowds.
Is there any rhyme or reason I can easily gather on which ones, like, everyone wearing a purple shirt seems to be acting weird, or anything that connects them?
So your first success with perception alertness, definitely, I counted that almost as an extended roll, because you got so many successes, you just started noticing this throughout the night. I will need another perception alertness at difficulty 8 to see if you can find anything other than the same physical reaction signs.
Just 2 this time.
Okay. For a little while, you've seen maybe like 5 people so far that are exhibiting the same kind of drug stupor. So you don't really maybe start paying attention till that like 3rd, 4th, and start saying like, are they, dressed in the same costume? Like maybe they all came from the same party. So now you're really keeping an eye out. As you continue, you've only seen it on 2 out of maybe 7, but some of them among the beads they're wearing is a set of white and red ones, which you haven't really seen on other people.
First thing I'm gonna do is pull out my phone and text Theo real quick with just, are you handing out beads this year?
He'll text back, whose beads and what kind? Theo tends to run around taking beads from people and giving them to other people.
He does this by wearing more and more layers of clothes.
The response that, the only response you'll get is just a thumbs up emoji, and that's it.
And he'll probably also mention to keep an eye out for a goat for him.
That one response. So I'm gonna approach one of these random people in the crowd and just kind of slightly swaying myself, acting as though I've had a few good drinks in me. Approach them, kind of, probably a guy, and just kind of, act like another, just bro out there. Put my arm around him and just be like, hey, are you having a good time?
After you put your arm around them, they still seem really out of it, but they do turn their head to look at you. You notice that their skin is pretty red. You can practically feel the heat coming off of them. Their eyes are dilated, and they do seem to have like kind of dry lips. They stare at you blankly for a second, but then seem to register you there. Hey man.
Dude, do you look like you're having a great time? And kind of like lean in and just be like, dude, no, seriously. Is there a place where... what are you on, man? Can I get some of that?
He listens, or seems to be listening to what you're saying, but is in such a daze, he doesn't really respond. His head then turns, and he starts speaking to someone, although the closest person is a couple feet away and facing in a different direction.
Do I catch what he says?
It's kind of mumbled. It sounds conversational, like just, hi, how's it going? Like he's speaking to someone he maybe knows from work, but not that well, and seems to completely not notice anymore that you even have your arm around his shoulders.
I'll put on my first rank of Auspex in sight, kind of give him another look up and down, just to see if I notice. I doubt, is he one of the individuals who does have the white and red beads?
I figured that's why you would have gone up to him, so yes.
I'm on that same page, so yeah.
So first of all, for your Auspex roll, you wanted to check aura?
No, I only have the first rank, so I was just heightening my sight just to see if... He started acting weird, so it's just like, okay, I need to be on alert.
You don't notice anything more about them than what I already explained. It seems like their temperature's a little bit elevated, their eyes are dilated, and they seem to be like a little bit dehydrated just because it looks like their lips are cracked.
And this is, well, obviously not ecstasy, LSD, any of that stuff. I'm sure Bjorn would not be ignorant about these things.
It doesn't seem like LSD. E would make you think maybe about the dehydration and the dilated pupils, but the dazed reactions, the seeming hallucination talking to someone, doesn't match E for sure. And even seems a little strange for LSD. Usually people can recognize someone's talking to them. So no, it definitely seems a little bit outside the standard that might be taken at an outdoor event like this.
I'll try to grab his attention and be like, dude, you have a lot of beads. We should go find a chick. Get here. I know the best place to go, and we'll start kind of taking his beads off, being like, hey, I know the perfect person you need to give these to, and purposely try to get that white and red beaded necklace off of him and start kind of leading him down in a direction.
All right. Basically, any kind of manipulation you try to do with this guy, he goes along with pretty easily, even if he doesn't seem to recognize what you're doing or that you're doing anything to him. But when you start saying yeah, let me get these beads, I know someone I could give them to, he just sort of lets you take them off of him.
And I'll find a bench and kind of just be like, hey, wait here for 5 seconds. I'll be right back. You'll trust me. And kind of set him down on a bench and just wander off with the beads.
Okay.
And at that, I will give Rebecca a call.
Dio is still just running around up and down the parade routes and all that kind of stuff. So he there's chances. If anyone wants to see him running by, he may be around.
Right before Bjorn makes that call, Luther, you're over at the Zulu Social Club, or Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club party. And while you're smoozing around, having a good time, getting to meet people, you do see the Prince Marcel wander in with a couple of his lackeys. Looks to be Anthony and Karen.
Well, he'll go over and say his hellos and all that fun stuff.
So Marcel sees you and immediately, goes to shake your hand. Luther, good to see you here.
Marcel, of course, Sorry. Well now, Marcel, isn't this just a pleasure?
Absolutely. And he starts looking around. He obviously just arrived. Anybody of interest? Anything going on?
Well, besides me, not really. It's been a pretty slow night so far. How about you?
He enjoys the little quip, and especially Karen, she laughs along too. Anthony's always a bit more stoic, but he gives you a polite, even friendly kind of nod. Otherwise, he wanders off and starts looking at some of the presentations. There's often a lot of posters and things displayed regarding local social aid projects, things that the crew are involved with among the city, and it seems that Anthony just immediately just wants to go and check in with those. Marcel nods and just kind of crosses his arms. Yes, well, it seems Mardi Gras so far has been going off with a bang, but only in the way we would like it.
Well, that's good. Your phone's not blowing up with emergencies or anything like that, I hope.
No, and he immediately starts looking around and finds the closest wooden-looking object and taps his, knuckle against it.
Well, I'm not much of a man of superstition, but how our little problem, last week, how did that work out?
Marcel gives a dismissive nod to Karen, and she gives him just a little peck on the cheek and wanders off, same as Anthony did. Marcel will kind of one hand touch your arm and lead you off to a slightly more quiet corner and lean against a wall. Well, we've been following up on that information you gave us. There's certainly someone in that room and has been staying there for some time. Definitely a fake alias. However, we're doing the best we can to find any better trail. It's taking some work. They obviously have their own... Hey, thanks for a second. People.
Well, I don't know much about them, so I don't have much to say about it, but with all the fear that I saw on people's faces when the names came up, I'm sure they have quite an organization to do some horrible things.
Yes. No, that is definitely a concern. Regarding your friend, I'm finishing up the details to make sure we have some heightened protection in her direction. I found out where Abraham had put her up, so we're making sure to have some security added in that direction. And then, of course, I will do my best to see about an actual bodyguard. Might be a bit pricey.
Well, if it wasn't for her, I don't know how I would have found them. Obviously, it would have happened at some time, but she might have saved us.
No, of course, but also it's not something I can keep up for an eternity. We'll make sure she's safe as long as our investigation continues until we can find some sort of resolution.
Of course, and who knows? She might not even want a bodyguard. Maybe that's just a little bit too cramping of a style. Or maybe she might love a bodyguard. I don't know. I can't speak for her, but I can bring it up to her next time I see her.
He laughs again and says, "That's a perfectly good point. Sometimes it's a little demeaning, maybe even just a little uncomfortable."
Yeah, I mean, no one wants just a big brute following them around, maybe, who knows what she wants, but maybe instead of just a full-time, it could just be somebody on retainer. She gives them a call and they come a-running.
That may be the best solution. I, of course, want to uphold my end of the bargain, so I will try and, I don't have her information, as it were. I could get it, but I feel that may be a little too forward. Perhaps if you can ask her and relay the message, or if she would like to meet in person.
Well, she seems like the kind of girl that might want to meet you in person. She likes having fun and new experiences. Maybe I'll try and set that up for you.
Perfect. That sounds wonderful. He starts to seem like a little more distracted by the topic. He kind of wants to mingle and even tries to just draw you back out of the corner to say we're done with this.
For sure. And he'll gladly go by and just make small talk with them and stuff like that and hang out with them.
All right. Now, Dinah. I've been playing this music for a long time. Got a little sort of elevator jazzy music going on. So, Dinah, you were traveling with the crew of Iris, who this year did up a big kind of flowery theme based around the symbolism behind different types of flowers and what they mean to different cultures. And the parade finally ends, and it ends with a large kind of dance party before the crew actually starts, breaking down the float and going on with the rest of their night. So at the end of St. Charles Avenue, after a couple of the other parades make their way more into the warehouse district to start taking things apart, the Iris crew wraps up and begins playing music and dancing with the streetgoers out there.
Dinah absolutely has her trumpet and is playing the trumpet.
I love it.
Also, all the Iris crew members all wear white gloves and masks. I mean, everybody has to wear masks, but white gloves in particular.
Perfect. So, the crowd that's gathered around where the Iris crew finally wrapped up their parade, starts trying to dance amongst these beautiful women all dressed up in flowers, their nice gloves, and Dinah moves around playing a trumpet. As you do notice two people that are stood out on the side of the group that's moving around, and they seem kind of in a solid statuesque state, just staring off, almost as if they're like watching kind of a like pattern in front of them.
Okay, can I do an Auspex check on them?
Sure. Or a perception, you mean?
Yeah.
All right. That is. It's been a while.
Perception and empathy, I think.
Yes, that sounds about right. Yep, perception, empathy against 8.
Oof! Nothing.
Alright, I'm gonna
2
say...
successes, 2 ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, like, for a second,
Nice.
you notice, kind of a pale color around them, so... Or, not a pale color, that the color of their aura, looks a little confused, but it's they're definitely humans. That's all you're able to pick up, though.
Okay. I'll kind of just keep my eye on them, but in general, like, I'm trying to semi-enjoy myself too, because I've spent a lot of time working very hard for this particular parade.
Absolutely. So these two continue to stand there. They're not doing anything. They're not harming anybody. Nobody's annoyed with their presence, really. A few people do give them weird looks because they're just kind of stuck standing there. They're not even, moving a little bit. But people kind of just dance around them, maybe avoid them a little bit. A couple of the young women in your crew also take notice of them, but similar to you, they kind of want to just have a good time. It's not really their concern that someone took something silly that night. But then one of them starts wandering off and the other stays still. And you hear the one who stays still kind of muttering something that sounds like almost like a simple little poem under their breath.
Can I Auspex again to hear it? Like, enhance?
Well, that one doesn't take a roll, so you can up your hearing, and then use perception alertness at 5.
Okay. Two.
Okay.
Keep rolling the ones, man. I do good except for the goddamn ones.
So maybe you start dancing a little closer. You're still playing your trumpet, and there's a lot of noise, but since this person's not really moving, you can, dance a little closer nearby. You can't. They are mumbling, and it's pretty low, but you pick up something that they say something about red. And at that point, you even notice their skin tone is very, very bright. All the capillaries coming to the surface. They definitely look like they are warmer than they should be, high temperature. And then you hear something about a bone, and then blind as a bat sounds a little clearer. And then they just trail off They go quiet for a little bit, and then they seem to repeat this mumbled sentence.
Hey, not sure what to do about this in particular. Shoot, I know. I'm gonna text Rebecca. I don't know
Okay.
if she'll even look at her phone in the parade.
Now, Rebecca, as you are, getting back to moving throughout the parade and the crowds and having a good time, you get a text just within, like, maybe a minute of each other. One from Bjorn and one from Dinah.
What do they say?
The one from Bjorn is, do you have a moment to talk? I have stuff.
Okay. And then the one from Dinah, you said they come about. They're really.
The one from
close
Dinah
apart.
says that she heard some people looking out of it, and like basically parade watchers looking strung out but chanting, I think, magic words. Is this a thing?
She will text back to Dinah. Bead color ? And then she will find someplace quiet and call Bjorn, or just text him. Sorry. Are you nearby? She won't give a location. She'll just
and
ask
Bjorn's
if you're
response
nearby.
is, yes.
Cool. Let's meet.
Sure, he'll work out a location with you.
You will get a text from Theo in all caps that says, "Do not take beads from strange men. Bad things may happen." And he will tell you to keep your shirt on, young lady. There's a lot of bad influences out there.
You will not get a text from Abraham.
She will text back Theo and say, "I love you, Grandpa. Meeting up with Bjorn if you want to meet up," and then add an address.
Wait, did you specifically mean te instead of the? You said
Wait.
the address.
No, I meant the. She does not know. No. But yeah, to Dinah, she will ask just bead color ?
I don't know. What's the bead color? Is it the same red and white?
Yeah, that person does seem to have a set of, has a few sets of beads. So when she says bead color, you're going to, see a whole mix of purple, green, gold. One of them's like blue, silver, and white. One of them is red and white, though, if she asks.
Couple different colors, red and white, normal green and gold.
She will text back red, white equals bad, and then an address to me.
On my way.
Is Theo going to meet up with them? Or is he busy running around?
Oh, he's definitely going to meet up.
Okay. Alright, Rebecca, what type of spot would you pick?
Like a bar. I also wanted to just briefly text Abraham and Luther happy Lundi Gras. Like, that's it. Like, just a...
You will get a U2, like spelled correctly, no emojis or anything, just U2.
I was really hoping it was like the band U2.
Oh, hell no.
The picture about
I know how to use proper grammar. Thank you very much.
You would get like a text back, same thing pretty much as being like, "Happy Mardi Gras, woo."
But yeah, just like a bar, or you know what? No, that's going to be really loud.
I was gonna say,
Like
there are cocktail bars that, you know, are a little more on the down low. There's still a lot
and
of
then-
music, but not like packed full of the, you know, insane touristy drunks.
Then one of those, definitely, yes.
All right, so Rebecca picks out a small cocktail bar that's off the beaten path. So, you know, this is going to be people, locals, who don't want to deal with the outside riffraff, but still want to have a drink this night. So perhaps Rebecca gets there first since it was her local destination, but Bjorn and Dinah, you were the ones she was speaking with most recently, so you'll arrive shortly afterwards, and then maybe a minute or two later you'll see Theo walk in.
Rebecca's got something colorful to drink.
Bjorn will walk to the bar, order a pint of whatever they're selling, and sit down with you and just slap down a handful of beads on the table.
Are any of them red or white?
Also, while giving you a look in it, you know, kind of like looking at you as he sets the beads down. Not saying anything.
Oh. Is this an exchange?
Yes?
Okay, what do you want?
Theo will walk in, see Bjorn, see the beads on the table, and grab his own beads. He's got a huge amount of them, and just gasp.
Look what you did!
This is exactly what it looks like, Theo. Don't get any wrong ideas.
I wasn't exactly worried about you.
Do vampires need smelling salts?
I think we've already caught the vapors.
No. Okay. Rebecca, Theo, Bjorn, and Dinah, now that you've gathered up, you know, maybe at like one of those tall barstool style tables off on the side, and you have this large collection of beads, multitudes of colors. Go ahead, and this will be pass or fail, so no botching, but give me a perception alertness against...
Main.
Maybe.
Is this for all of us or just Rebecca?
I should really have her
I can't roll for shit today. At least I didn't botch miraculously.
I mean, it's pass or fail. It's something you'll notice or you won't. That's it.
It's probably because of the amazing roll that I got from my one roll today.
I got one success.
You said a perception alertness?
I also got one success.
Oh my god, I'm in the money! 3.
Okay. God damn it. Okay. Let me repeat what I was muted for like 3 minutes. Sorry, everybody. And then we'll take a break. So, Theo and Bjorn, you notice that, there's like a weird gap in the necklace. Otherwise, the only thing that stands out is that they're plastic, very cheap, standard beads. Rebecca, you're gonna more so notice that that gap looks like maybe something's missing, like there was something there. The string looks like a little clipped, like it looks like bent. But none of the necklaces seem to have anything in that space.
Like there was a bead removed or something?
Yeah, so let's take a little break. As usual, we're gonna, hang for a couple of minutes. Some people are gonna run off and do things. Otherwise, go ahead and ask us questions about the game, our characters, really anything. Tell us how you're doing. How is everybody this lovely Tuesday evening? How y'all... Don't mind the puppy sneezes. I need to get some more music for this game.
Like some good sassy jazz going.
Yeah, I was going through, because I just have like the one guy's stuff to use, and there's plenty of good stuff for like vampire spooky ambient stuff, but when it's anything that's a little more jaunty is like usually goofy. I'm like, it's not what I want.
Oh, are we on questions?
Yeah, we're taking a little break because it's been close to 2 hours, so why not?
So what you're saying is I was like 5 minutes early.
Me. Having to find a way to introduce new player characters in my game, it is tricky. Sometimes it's easy to just go with a bit of a cliche start and then, build from there. Not worry too much about it being the perfect opening. I've certainly...
Fuck your cliche starts.
Huh?
I said fuck your cliche starts.
What?
Hence my last Friday.
No, I know. It's just like, just get it started. Start with the tavern. Start with everybody naked in one room. Just go with it, and then build up the story from there. It's whatever.
So Delta Fixer is asking me if my liver has recovered from Friday night, and I'm pretty sure that I'm looking a little orange today. If you haven't noticed, I might have enough cover up on that you can't see it, but I'm pretty sure I have complete liver failure, and I don't think I've been sober since.
Well, Spira's our liver expert, so...
You do liver research.
Yes.
What did I miss Friday?
During chat, people kept jokingly mentioning Matt Mercer from Critical Role.
Which Modi decided it's a drinking game.
Yeah. So of course people kept saying it over and over.
I mean, every time I hear about Matt Mercer, I want to drink because I'm not him, so it makes sense.
I mean, yeah?
Pretty much. Just you hear the name and you're like, God damn it! But yeah, that was fun. That was a fun night.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed. It was a really bad day for me.
Are you guys still doing world building, or are you actually into playing now?
We played last week.
I figured out a way to allow you to show up later, which I do need to talk to you, actually, though we'll probably discuss it like on stream whenever you first show up, whenever...
Oh, I should be good for this Friday.
Right, cool.
That was not a normal... That was bosses showed up and
cool.
Got caught with my pants down.
This is one of those scenarios where having done a couple of sessions pre-stream really helps, because I think I know your character enough to come up with a bullshit answer as to why you weren't there the first session. And it's because you like shiny things.
Also, Delta, I just had to explain to my wife that I was taking a shot every time somebody mentioned Matt Mercer on... Fuck!
I mean, we could maybe just keep that to Fridays.
Yeah, no, this is far enough removed from Matt Mercer that Ugh.
Oh, but thank you, Delta Fixer. You're great. We really,
I'm
though,
sad.
appreciate you guys coming out and watching and hanging with us.
My mouse, I usually have it here. It just fell that way, and it makes me sad.
Oh, I can't wait to I'm totally like once we start on the beats, I'm just gonna I'm gonna text Abraham. Just we're here chilling at this party, bring the goat.
So
Into it.
Chimerical Jim asked if he could get a brief summary of this game's story so far. Absolutely. So, we have here Luther, Abraham, Dinah, Bjorn, and Theo are all local kindred in New Orleans. Most of them are... Dinah's probably the youngest at close to a century, just a little shy.
She's like 106.
Yeah, and then Theo
Probably.
and Bjorn, Abraham and Luther are much more in the 200 to 300-year-old range. So we do actually have a group here playing Ancillay/Elders. Essentially, they are all locals of New Orleans, at least for now. Bjorn kind of moved in a little while ago, but they all really love the city, so they're very passionate and concerned about keeping it safe and all that good stuff. But there are local Guru or Lupin, as well as some technocracy mages that want to take New Orleans all for their own. Well, the Guru actually have a treaty with the Kindred against the technocracy mages. The technocracy mages came in and they want to take the Lupin's cairns, or, you know, these magical nodes that they live by. So essentially, it gets a little complicated, but essentially the vampires and werewolves have been working together to try and keep this place safe for both of them, while these technocrats are doing their own insidious thing. However, the Guru are getting a little pissed off because the Kindred are starting to move into more and more areas that weren't a part of the initial treaty. They feel like the Guru feel like they're being invaded a little bit, and, you know, they don't like vampires in the first place. So right now, our crew, including Rebecca, who is a mage, are just trying to watch for signs of any trouble with the Guru or with the technocracy mages. That's kind of where we are about now, and is also in-game time around Mardi Gras. So they're worried someone's going to be doing something crazy during that time because so much is going on in the city. And the princes sort of asked all of them to help out. Just keep an eye out, report anything strange they see, and if they feel like dealing with it themselves, all the better. That should be about it.
Delta, to answer you for me. Honestly, Ike's voice didn't bother me. Ike's general pissy sort of weird disposition was... I really like Ike, and I'm excited to go back to Ike, but I will absolutely cop to Theo is just so much more fun, like not being the hated character in the group, not being the pissy one, not being hard to get along with. So Theo's a little 2D, and I'm okay with that, so I purposely try to limit his... I try to keep him as like a run-through of everyone else's stuff going on. He just kind of walks through the frame, like the scene, like does something stupid and then leaves because he's not
I will
nearly
say, you say not hated, but like, what is the last text Abraham sent you?
Yeah, but you love him. So, because no one else would have granted you the experience of dropping a door off at your fancy-ass party, which you probably have some amount of contempt for anyway. He knows, and it's brilliant and fun. But yeah, so like Theo is because Ike, there was no who's best friends with Ike conversation. There was just there is Ike, and we'll see what happens.
No, it's because it was Nate, and there is no doubt about this.
But yeah, so it was, I don't necessarily miss. I mean, like, I don't mind playing the 13-year-old Ike. It's just that his general disposition wasn't. He was very VTM, like dark and broody,
Yeah,
and
he was a
complex.
problematic character for the group, at least. Though we did collectively love him, just more as players than as characters.
Yeah, and that was fine. I was okay playing with that. But this time, like, Theo is actually generally liked, and I built him simple, and I'm glad I did that. I think Modi and I both walked into this game with ideas of characters we didn't want to play.
I will actually be back in 1 second, and then we'll get going.
Okay, so Deadly Inhale has an overview of his opinion of our characters. Theo is insane here zombie. Dinah is jazz
He corrected
singer.
to near zombie.
Okay. Insane near zombie. Modi is a Nordic barbarian.
Prefers
Rebecca's
skull
sweet
to
naive
barbarian.
mage. Luther is a suave gambler, and Abraham is a rich Professor X / Littlefinger. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who Littlefinger is.
From Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
He
okay,
doesn't
that
know
would be why.
Runs of gaming.
I don't.
I understood
like
and appreciate
when
that reference.
like when I get invested in a character, I like them to live. So not a huge fan of Game of Thrones.
I mean, Littlefinger. I don't know. I haven't watched
Lives
in
so
like
far.
We don't get to
10
talk about that.
seasons.
Yeah, lives until he doesn't, and then he doesn't live anymore.
I don't know. I stopped watching it season 2. He's fine until then.
You too.
I like my TV shows to be light and flat. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I love my grim dark shows. Like, not gonna lie.
Okay, so
if
your
I become
bias against
invested in
this
the
one is
character-
just I don't want to watch it, which is fine.
No, it's. I like my characters to live.
I want you to know that I tried to introduce my husband to it, and he stopped at season 1 when Ned Stark, because
Also-
he's like, this
also-
show's pointless. They got rid of the
Also,
best character, and he doesn't
I
want to watch
tried
it.
to leave. All right. I tried to read Game of Thrones, and it was meh.
I had a good time with it.
I read Game of Thrones and I liked it.
Yeah,
But
same.
And you know what? I enjoyed the show too. Although I'm not going to spoil anything. But recently, I have disagreed with some of the creative choices they have taken because they are not good and very pandering.
Though admittedly, in recent months, I guess, if I had downloaded it as an audiobook, I would be most of the way through it at this point.
Here, I will give you the best recommendation possible. The writers for Game of Thrones wrote one episode of It's Always Sunny called Flowers for Charlie, and you should watch that episode.
All right. Getting back into it. So we're going to check in with Abraham before we go back to the cocktail bar with the others. So Abraham, you're at the Crew of Rex party. It's going swimmingly, and of course there's tea and crimpets and all sorts of fun, and then plenty of booze too. So the party, goes along quite nicely. You get to rub a few elbows here and there, and you even spot one or two kindred here and there you recognize by face and know them to have some investments around the city. But as the evening progresses and the party starts to turn towards wrapping up, you even see the caterers are coming and starting to gather the food. This party, the building is more near some actual residential areas. It's slightly off the beaten path of the main parade routes. And just as you're in the middle of speaking with an older woman who's drowning on way too long about, I don't know why everyone's okay.
I don't know. I'm just
I'm a mind.
Oh no, that was at Delta. You guys all continue.
I got it. As this one older woman is droning on about her investments and this new opera house that she's looking into, blah, 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 blah. You hear a very loud car crash. not just outside the building, but everyone it's that kind of record stopping. People, turn from where they are facing the door at this sound. It sounds like someone was probably driving at a pretty decent speed and crashed fully into some sort of hard object, maybe a telephone pole or something else.
Sadly.
I swear if my goat was hurt, I would never forgive you.
Sadly, as Marcus, I would kind of follow the crowd and just be like, oh dear, what happened? I wonder, I'm curious. But, I don't think I would necessarily walk in that direction because that would be untoward.
But you head outside?
I don't know if I would though. Is the crowd heading outside?
There's certainly some of the people who, some of the more party goers are inching that way, similar to the way you described. Like, they're curious, but they don't want to be that rubbernecker that runs to go look at the accident.
If Abraham thinks that he can go outside without looking improper, he will. Otherwise, he's staying inside.
There's definitely some of the monarchs of the crew and perhaps faculty are going to be heading that way. So there's people leaving the party to go and see what happened and see if they can help.
I will definitely go see what happened.
Okay. You step outside, and again, it's not right outside the building. It's maybe a few yards down the street, but definitely a car crashed at a higher speed. The most of the front of the car crushed into a telephone pole, which now is actually kind of half broken and leaning toward the car. And the few people who stepped outside first all are pulling out their cell phones and all simultaneously dialing 911 in a panic. Yeah. But of course, some people are then trying to tell the others, no, I'm calling. It's all right. We don't want to block up the lines.
So I've been in this crew for, a long goddamn time, though I probably had to spend a couple of years not part of the crew to not stick out. Do I see any doctors nearby? Because I feel like this is a philanthropy crew is kind of the heart of it.
Absolutely.
Would there be any doctors nearby?
Absolutely.
I'm going to kind of using my dominate actually to kind of shock them into action. I'm going to say, oh, I hope someone helps them. Emphasizing the help part of that sentence using dominate.
Yeah, you actually saw a couple people you either knew directly were physicians or worked in the nearby hospitals, kind of run out with that first wave of people. And so Marcus stands by, says his little bit with his dominate activated. And while they were already, they came outside, the second you do that, they take off with genuine speed and run over to the car. Of course, then taking their time to assess the damage, see if they should try and move the body or not. And from the distance where you're standing, it looks like they decide for the moment that they shouldn't even try opening the door.
Well, presuming the door or the car isn't catching on fire, I'm gonna trust their judgment, I guess?
They're still moving, assessing. One person does move toward the door, but they don't initially rip it open and try and pull the person out. After another few seconds, someone does carefully open the door, and you see an older man and a younger woman peek around the door and reach in and try to gently see if this person is still living, breathing, in shock, etc. And you see the other people outside. One person, you can hear them now speaking with a 911 operator explaining what just happened.
Yeah.
Alright, back at the social club where Luther was speaking with the prince, who then, after they had a bit of a back and forth about the problems in the city, as it were, the things that the prince had been concerned about, the Lupin and the technocracy mages, he, pulls Luther along and wants to start actually socializing, having a good night. They continue around. Marcel even introduces him to a few people Luther might not have known before. But after about maybe 20 minutes or so, you see Marcel pull his cell phone out, put a finger up towards Luther, and step away. Well, you can only hear one end of the conversation. Marcel's entire body language and tone turns for, he seems concerned and even upset.
How far away does he walk? Is he still walking away?
He took just a step away because he saw who was calling him, but he almost seems to go into a state of not shock, but he just kind of freezes where he stands, and whoever's speaking to him, he's hold it, calm down. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, if I could just. So he's close enough for me to hear. I don't need to use perception.
Yeah, he didn't really try to get away. So as you casually listen in on the conversation, you pick up that whoever's talking to him is telling him something along the lines of there's some trouble going on amongst the parade. There you can even maybe step another inch closer, and you can hear from the receiver that the multiple accidents are being reported, far higher numbers than Mardi Gras normally sees.
I'm not gonna get on the phone to talk before he comes and tells me if anything's wrong, but I'm definitely gonna send a text message to Dinah. Just making sure that she's okay, that something seems to be up.
Alright, we'll say that just after that perception roll, where you guys were looking over the beads and making your own opinions about them, Dinah, you'll get a text from Luther. Luther, what does the text say?
It would pretty much just be something's up, keep an eye out, maybe stay inside, car crashes, getting more information. And that's it.
Okay. Dinah, you received that. We'll pick up your scene for a minute or so before we go back to Luther.
Okay. So, she sends back that she is with Rebecca and that she's fine. And thanks for checking on us. There seems to have something strange going on.
Am I replying back now or no?
Yeah, it's in scene right now since you guys were texting.
All right. He would just say where are you? Be safe.
She sends him a location drop pin. And a thank you with a little heart.
He'll just be might be heading in your way soon.
Okay.
Alright. At that point, I do want to mention, Abraham, as you stand outside and you see these two physicians looking over the body in the car that just recently crashed, you hear sirens, and it seems a little soon for as just recently as the phone calls were made to 911, and they rush off in a different direction.
My reaction would basically be
Okay, just let you know.
Yeah, no, but I've got a out of it.
back to Luther. So you were texting Dinah after essentially overhearing from the prince's call that there are some strange numbers of accidents happening. Seems statistically high for, this sort of night, especially when as many people are getting drunk and doing even, other illegal substances. People are typically walking around. They're not usually even really driving. People kind of really understand it's like, it's Mardi Gras. Just walk the streets, get a cab home if you need to, or go to the hotel that you specifically booked nearby. So yeah, it's definitely a bit upsetting and strange to the few people who are now starting to hear about this. You even hear, mostly in the distance, but you do hear a siren, going by at this point.
Yeah, I would wait for the prince to get off the phone before I ask him any questions.
Yeah. So another minute later, I'm still in the cocktail bar, picture-wise. So after another minute, Marcel, he sounds like snippy at this point with the person on the line and just telling them to, call, you hear him say, call Christopher and, a couple other minor instructions. He gets off the phone, puts it back in his pocket, turns around and sees that you're not very far away and walks up close to you. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I think we might be in a bit of trouble. It doesn't seem natural, whatever the hell is going on right now.
Well, we should leave. I'm assuming we're not going to be able to get anything done here.
Marcel nods, looking upset. He takes like 1 foot and then stops and actually shakes his head. No. I should stay here for a moment longer. And he looks in the direction of where kind of the leaders of the crew are standing, and you see them murmuring to each other. I'll try to keep things under wraps here. Can you potentially meet up with Christopher, see what he's heard?
I mean, do I need to have this meeting in person, or I could just call him, correct? He has a phone. I have a phone. We can make this very quick.
Yes, of course. And I would say you actually already have Christopher's number.
If you need anything, if you hear anything, you give me a call now, all right?
Absolutely. I'm just hoping this is human brought on nonsense and nothing else.
You don't think this could have anything with those mages, do you?
I don't know, but this isn't normal for this time of year. Of course, there's accidents, just occasionally a person falling off a balcony and cracking their head, but I'm hearing reports quite all over the place. It's not even centralized.
I'll do my best. I'll call Chris right now. You do whatever you need to do, Marcel.
Thank you. And he pats your shoulder and seems to have a bit of a quickened step moving toward the human leaders of the crew to try and keep... He doesn't want everybody running out of this party into the streets where all of this is happening.
He would normally try and turn heel and get out of there really quickly, but if we're trying to stay nice and calm, then he kind of just very stiffly walks to the door and takes out his phone and calls Chris. But he's going to be getting in his car and heading, if he can, if it makes sense for him to get into his car and drive away. Or if Dinah's close enough, he'll just run.
Dinah, did you give him the location?
I sent him a drop pin, yeah.
Okay, good. All right. No, it wouldn't look insane for you to leave the party, get in your car, and leave. People come and go at this party all the time. Marcel was just concerned about not making a scene of, a bunch of people leaving all of a sudden.
No, I meant, I don't know how far she is. She could have been 2 blocks away, then I wouldn't drive. I would just walk. But if she's far enough that, it would make sense for me to drive, then that's what I'm going to do.
I'd say it's about probably 3 maybe 4 at most. And with, all the roads kind of blocked and traffic directed in different ways, it might actually be faster for you to, have a quick little pace over to the bar instead.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Alright, so Luther is heading on his way to meet up with everyone else. Back at the cocktail lounge for a moment, Dinah, you had just gotten this text from Luther. Otherwise, you are standing around a table covered in cheap plastic beads.
Okay.
Hey, can I do something?
Absolutely.
I want to... So, you know how, Rebecca has, in the past, maybe seen into someone's past? I want her to do that, but with these beads.
Oh, okay. Yes. Hold on. Let me look at your sheet.
It would be time 2 matter 1. Instead of time 2 life 1 matter 1 for a vampire.
Yep, absolutely. So, go ahead and roll for that.
So the diff, if it's coincidental, would be 5. If you want to call it vulgar, it would be 6. But that is your call.
I'm gonna say, since you're doing kind of a perception thing, and the only people paying attention are a bunch of vampires who know about supernatural perception abilities, it's fine. It's not gonna cause... No one's gonna turn around suddenly in a huff and go, "You did what?" So you take one of these white and red beads, and is that 4 successes?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. So you grab one of these sets of beads, and maybe you even kind of run your finger over that blank spot that really stood out to you. And you get a flash in your mind, sort of almost the memories attached to whoever was last dealing with this item. And you see a man in an all-white outfit. It's very old period style, kind of like a very traditional masquerade outfit. And he even has a large beaked mask, almost that plague doctor style look for the masquerades, and a big white, like kind of admiral cap looking thing. And you see this man handing this set of beads to the hand of the person who received it. You just see it from their point of view. But as he's handing them the beads, where that space is blank is kind of a small plastic pendant that looks like a kind of a cartoon devil's face. And it looks kind of thick. Like it's like a couple inches, long, but then like, a couple centimeters deep as well.
Okie doke. Yeah, she is going to grab a bar napkin and fish out of her purse a pen, and then draw very crudely first the coin, which she can probably get a lot better, and then second, like, even worse,
and
the guy in the plague doctor mask.
And with 4 successes, I'm gonna say they're like the last little flashes attached with this, but you do like see it opening, and there's like a small folded piece of paper and something else behind it, but that's like where it fades.
Okay. Yeah, so she'll spend all of her time trying to draw it as well as she can, which again is not very good.
It's a really kind of like cartoony, like almost goofy looking little devil's face, so it doesn't require a lot of detail.
Okie doke.
Almost like kind of like the one emoji. It's purple on the phone, but this one is red.
I'm gonna watch, like, as she draws. This is like on the table, right?
She's doing it on the napkin, yeah.
We can see it. I'm gonna look at it and go, are you gonna like smack the table and it becomes real?
She fucks up a little bit as you say that. But otherwise doesn't answer. When she's done, like, the picture of the drawing has some arrows on it to point at what is, like, white and what is red, or what is, like, so these beads are missing something, and, pushing the napkin forward. And this would be what they're missing.
Is this like an Amazon thing? Do we like order one or?
No, this is like a real detective simulator that we're doing.
What's a simulator? Is that like that thing? It vibrates, you put it on the back of your neck, and feels real good? Is that the techno files again?
I don't know.
The answer is yes. That is exactly what it is. But Rebecca, what exactly is this that it's missing? This is what you drew first.
I don't know. There might have been a piece of paper attached, and she will flip a napkin over, and it does not look good. Like, I want it to be known that, like, the parts that can be stick figure are that. This is kind of what he looks like, the guy who gave it to him. So,
I mean, you can roll dexterity and art if you want to.
So this gentleman, if I'm understanding this correctly, has 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head.
No, like the beak, the plague doctor, the beak mask.
Okay.
Before she plague doctor mask.
Spiros, can I, as a
And were there
collector,
cozies in his pocket as well?
as a collector of curios and magical doodads and knickknacks, does the coin, like the stuff she drew, look familiar at all? Can I roll something to try to? At least I've seen one of those in a shop somewhere, or this looks like this.
I'm gonna just tell you without you rolling. No, it looks like a little cheap plastic cartoony, bead. Like I said, it's a pendant, but like because it's a little bit larger. But it looks like something that was just. It looks like something from like Spencer's gift that you picked up for Mardi Gras. It's not like very. There's nothing really special looking to it. Even though her drawing's crude, it doesn't remind you of anything.
So is this magic? I guess.
No, it's just a drawing on a napkin, Uncle Theo. You can keep it though if you want. I would love to see this.
Do not sass me, darling. I meant is the piece that's missing magic. It doesn't look like any of, well, importance. It looks cheap.
Well,
I have no idea, but every single necklace is missing it.
I saw a couple people, only one of them was wearing one of those, and they all looked red, like red-faced, like as if they were flushed or feverish, and they were standing very still, and they were muttering something under their breath, something about a blackbird, and I don't...
Oh, they're all high. I should have mentioned that. They're all definitely high on.
I mean, obviously, but like this seems
something special.
We all are, aren't you?
No, but like something extra is what I've heard. They're being given something extra.
But they were all speaking the same poem.
Well, I don't know what they were given, so I can't tell you to that length.
Don't take drugs from people on the street.
I have never heard of a drug that makes people flash mob saying the same poem over and over again.
Okay, well, I guess when we find out what drug this is, then you will have heard of that drug.
I mean, there are the stories back in Europe of, flash mobs of people dancing all across Europe and dancing themselves to death. Just contagious dance. Stranger things have happened.
Never mind.
I get what you're saying. I'm saying that this drug has not been around. I don't know what it is.
My point. Yeah.
Yeah, I am agreeing with you.
Okay. Do you have any ideas as to what it is?
No, only that you get some from this plague doctor here.
Okay, alright.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want his mask. Can I have the mask? If we
Absolutely.
find him,
If we find him, we will get you the mask.
You're not. That's not it. You're not
That's
lying.
not a joke. I will get you that mask.
Okay.
Before I make...
off we go. Or no, wait, what?
Is this dangerous to the kind, do you think? The humans, the high people. Is it dangerous to them?
I will be able to better tell when I can actually acquire some.
Well then, I think it might be most prudent if a few of us at least split off and we try to cover some ground looking for the plague doctor. And
Can we get it? Like, if we wear one?
why don't you try one on and see if it affects you?
I mean, I was kind of planning on it.
I'm not sure if he would be able to notice any change.
What? Of course not, I'd be acting weird.
Are there any other defining characteristics besides the plague doctor mask? It's just everyone's wearing a mask. There are several plague doctors around. I don't...
Hey, God! What did he look like again?
It was a very masquerade-looking outfit, which, that's not, again, necessarily uncommon, but he was in full white, whereas a lot of, Mardi Gras goers tend to, put a little more flash, pizzazz, sparkles, and things like that. It did seem to stand out a tiny bit.
Was it gothic at all? When they described the, other cultists?
Remember when, Frankie and Dorian said that they're these people that looked a little more gothic than was standard for Mardi Gras? It would ping that memory for you.
Okay, yeah. So they're wearing kind of entirely just white.
Okay, that's helpful, thank you.
And sort of, gothic style.
Alright, that's something. We're looking for a plague doctor wearing white in all of New Orleans. Alright.
Don't sound so excited.
It's just a bit of a daunting task. I want to get started and I'm not sure how.
Bjorn.
Yes, ma'am?
Give me a perception streetwise roll. Just at 6.
Three successes.
Okay. Thinking back on it, you did... When you were seeing these people, like I mentioned, especially earlier, now it seems like more and more people might be getting affected as the night goes on, but when you were following or noticing these people throughout your walk, they were sporadic, but it almost seemed like a little bit of a footprint, like you saw them as you went along, not in a single group, not in a single area. It did seem to follow almost a trail along these roads.
I'll relay that message to the other three and just say, well, it does look like there is a, not exactly a pattern, but a trail to at least the cases that I saw out in the streets. Theoretically, if we split into two groups, one take one direction of the trail, one take the other, we might be able to narrow the footprint down a bit.
Okay, I'll take group 3.
Just about this time, Luther, you find yourself at the cocktail bar. You enter it. It is busy and a little bit loud. This music does not fit it at all. It was good for the conversation, but let's get something else going on. That's okay. All right. So it's a little loud, a little crowded, but you do, spot your little group of weirdlings off in the corner with a giant pile of plastic beads on the table in front of them.
On my way there, did I notice anything like car crashes or anything that I would have kept an eye out from what I heard from the prince?
Did you hear about the weird people?
No, he just said he doesn't know what's happening, but there's just car crashes all over the place.
In your walk, you wouldn't have necessarily seen any accidents or the cars, because this is still kind of the area that's blocked off for people in parades. But you can hear some sirens moving throughout the city.
All right, I'll just walk up to everyone.
You would have also probably noticed a couple people out of it. Yeah, if you weren't thinking to look for it, you might have brushed it off as just people, enjoying themselves on Mardi Gras, but similar to everybody else, they seemed a little extra zoned out on something.
To be fair, now that I think about it, he probably would have been pretty tunnel visioned of just trying to walk and get to Dinah, Rebecca, and all them.
I'll say maybe one weirdo walked past you, just staring off.
Just one on Mardi Gras? All right, well, that's... I can see. Well, I'm glad to see that all of you are safe. How are y'all doing tonight?
But I think at least we seem to be doing well enough. Yourself?
Fine, I just came from a party with the prince, and apparently there's been a lot of strange activities going on, something about car crashes and...
There's car crashes going on.
Did you see it go?
No, I did not see a goat, Theo.
What was
Have you seen a plague doctor?
Spira, I'm assuming I've seen multiple plague doctor faces walking through there.
As
That's
far
a
as
pretty
that
common
long-nosed kind of mask goes, yeah, you would have seen a number of them.
Dozens of them, of course. It's Mardi Gras. Everyone has a plague doctor mask.
Bjorn just likes them, so he wanted to know.
Yeah, I'm talking about car accidents. Why are we talking about goats and plague doctors? Anyways.
Okay, listen. Goats are very low to the ground. And it may not be the case that someone would see
They're
the
a
goat,
vehicle
thus
hazard.
causing them to crash and potentially killing my goat.
Your goat. Now it's your goat now. Not just the...
Well, I mean, it's a goat.
Can we please get back to the topic?
I tried to give it to
appreciate
Abraham,
this,
and
but-
he denied it, and now it might be dead, and I don't know how to deal with this.
So actual people might be dead too, though. So let's
Yeah, but,
focus
like,
on the car accidents.
really
Bjorn will grab Theo and kind of shove him into his chest, just patting him on the head, just be like, there, Theo.
Right,
Well,
if you
purposely
didn't do
muffling
it,
him.
Rebecca was gonna pat his hand and pet his cheek.
Purposely muffling him into his pecs, just being like, you're done talking, just like, oh, poor Theo. So anyways, I think the plague doctors and these car crashes are related.
What are the plague doctors doing? They're just normal people walking around. It's Mardi Gras. We see plague doctors every year.
This time we have one who's maybe giving some really, really strong drugs out.
Well, that's what people pay for. They pay for really, really strong drugs.
I mean, the maybe magical kind. The maybe bad magical kind. I don't, nobody knows until we'll find them.
Now, you're telling me that there are magical drugs also?
Have you ever had a high, like a magic helped high?
No, to be honest, I have never even heard of such a thing. So, no, I have not.
Is there pixie dust LSD? Because
Absolutely.
Excuse me, how are you talking?
I'm into your chest.
Rebecca, understanding completely, says, yeah, we kill about 3 Tinkerbells a year for them.
Anyways, why are you guys sitting around? If you thought that there is somebody spreading around some kind of mischievous activity, why aren't we out there finding them?
We were about to go, actually. We are looking for a plague doctor in a white outfit, white costume, not one of the regular ones.
Is Abraham busy tonight, or do you think he can help? Because he probably has the most in the way of
I can
resources.
try to contact people too, but
I'm
half of them
gonna
are
pull
people
out from Bjorn. I texted him. I told him to join the party and look for my goat.
When was that? Because I don't remember that.
Oh, your headphones are off. That's right. Yeah, I did text you. I said, We're having a real party. If you want to join, also bring my goat.
Yeah, I remember that.
So you do have a text message about us hanging out and having a goat, and I'll probably text you again, and it will just say, also get a plague doctor dressed like Jesus. Good luck.
So this car crash is happening now.
I will respond with any particular reason. Question.
I love the goat.
And Jesus!
For the plague doctor, comma, you shit, question mark.
Oh, it'd just be, he's drugging people, but seriously, my goat.
From Dinah, from what I hear, I don't know.
Dio's gonna join us. He's watching out for a plague doctor.
Oh, perfect. Apparently, it was bad enough that the prince got a phone call to his personal phone saying that something is happening out of the ordinary. Now, that's could be nothing, but with what has been going on lately, maybe we should be more on our toes.
All right. So far, we have noticed people standing around, kind of muttering to themselves. It sounds almost like some kind of nursery rhyme. I thought maybe it was a magic spell or something, which is why I called Rebecca. And they are very flushed and feverish and very out of it, as far as I can tell. And they're all wearing these red and white beads, or at least most of them are.
But none of them are getting hurt, right? They're just people that are tripping, as we might
Unless
call it.
they started to try.
Yeah,
Or
unless they're tied to the car accidents.
All right, 1 second. What's up, Zabani? And then.
Real quick, I was just gonna say, if Marcus can extricate himself professionally for business reasons, he'd prefer to be hanging with vampires, but like, he's not gonna find a goat or a plague doctor.
You certainly see some of the other people at the party deciding to excuse themselves because it looks like it's just going to be...
I figure I can be like, I have investment problems that I must deal with.
I mean, even at this point, they realize the party was already wrapping up, but also police and ambulances are going to be here soon.
Yeah.
People are just kind of want to leave now.
Yeah.
I was wondering, can I send a text to my my family, all of the different contacts I have in my domain, telling them to look out for the plague doctor in all white, handing out red and white beads, and warning them not to let anyone put them on if they see them.
Also,
Absolutely.
once... Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. A couple of you also have contacts if you want to send like a same kind of text out to somebody.
I'm curious, is the goat still outside?
It is not outside when you leave the party.
Okay, then I will get one Uber to take me wherever it is I need to go.
I will say, this guy over here started something you don't even want to know about.
Because if it was still outside, I would have ordered a second Uber and paid one to bring the goat with me. But I'm not gonna go like spend my time to find a fucking goat because he couldn't be bothered to bring it.
I have 2 shows I love that have random goats, so now the game has a random goat.
He's not random. I bought him and I love him.
Okay.
Rebecca doesn't have contacts, but she does have a sister, and so she is going to take a tiny bit of time to send a text that kind of looks like a chain text, so it's not overly worrying, but like it still gets the message across.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't take the brown acid.
yeah.
Abraham has plenty of contacts, but he is not about to message his CEO friends about finding a goat. So
No, well, Abraham would also know that I have low-level, like, street-level contacts, and a lot of them. So.
yeah, not gonna contact some CEOs or my people in the media about goat.
All right. But Abraham, you decided to excuse yourself and meet up with these guys. Okay.
Using my usual hire an Uber and then probably tip too much.
In that case, like I said, it's kind of like walking and cars. Neither one's that much faster, but you've got a good guy, so he knows how to skirt
It
through
wouldn't
here
be
and there.
faster if I wasn't, if I didn't have a bad knee or bad knees.
Oh, good point. Yeah. So actually, this is.
I have bad knees, so cars is faster.
Mm-hmm. I was only saying it'll be kind of walking pace for a few blocks. But yeah, so the Uber, starts taking you in the direction of the cocktail bar where everybody else is. At that time, Luther, Rebecca, Theo, Bjorn, and Dinah, you're kind of discussing your options about how to find this persons. And Rebecca, Theo, you sent out your kind of newswire blast of, can you hunt someone like this down?
Also, as extra carrot, and the people who deal with me often, and the people who deal with the people who deal with me often know that these are generally valuable. I will offer a favor to the first person who comes up with an answer for me. And it can be any favor they want from me, and they know my favors are valuable. Yeah, you didn't pay $5 million for cheap favors, so I have compromise. It's like the Bitcoin market. It's only underwritten by the amount of cash you've poured into it. Do you want me to roll contacts or
No.
something? Okay.
All right. But yeah, the 5 of you right now are still in the bar. Unless you had anything else you wanted to describe, we can a little time skip and have Abraham show up. However, I will say that during the Uber ride, Abraham, you do receive a text from Anthony. 1 second.
Yeah, Anthony being which one again?
Yes. Anthony was the young black man of Ventrue and sort of right-hand man of Marcel the Prince,
Okay.
but definitely you know him
The
too.
one that sometimes goes against Marcus's
Yes.
specific intent, but for Marcus's benefit.
Marcel, but yes,
Yeah,
he's
that's
kind of
what
like Marcel has a
Yeah.
plan and Anthony thinks better,
Yeah.
and he's
So
actually
he
quite a young.
usually-
He's actually quite
so
a young
he-
kindred, but he's very he gets it. So
Yeah, but
he's-
this is the one that sometimes does what Marcus says not to, but Marcel, what Marcel wants him not to, but so that Marcel benefits.
Yes,
that's
he
what I'm
never
talking about.
does anything I
Yeah.
don't like that, so I'm going to do something
Yeah.
different. He genuinely believes Marcel's opinion on this is wrong. I
Right.
think this is better, that sort of thing.
Yes, Hope. I know that I am Marcus.
So Anthony sends you a straightforward text that just says, where are you? Have you heard anything about tonight's events?
I will respond with no question mark, because please, why would I believe that Theo is actually giving me something relevant?
Sure.
Like it usually takes a little bit of work for me to be like, oh, Theo's actually talking about something ridiculous and not just his fucking goats or, that dude that he met on the street.
Perfect. All right, so you send that during your car ride, and it's another few seconds, but Anthony texts back, thank you, please keep me informed if you hear anything. And it sounds vague, but Anthony will just speak to people directly, either you know what's going on or you don't.
All right.
So, a little bit of a time skip, and Abraham, you arrive at the small cocktail bar that you were informed that the rest of the group has met at. Similar to the other people who arrived, you see them standing at a bar stool table, the taller ones, with a lot of plastic beads spread out and a couple napkins in front of Rebecca with some scribbles.
She will have
I
gone
will
to
hobble
get
my way
another
over.
drink by this point.
You will what?
She will have gone to get another drink by this point.
And I will hobble my way over.
The gang's all here.
You will see. I'll catch a glimpse of you, and I will just stare as you hobble your slow, crippled ass at our table, just staring daggers at you every step you take.
It won't phase Abraham.
You don't know what happened to the goat.
Yeah, exactly.
I told Abraham the goat wasn't outside.
Yeah,
No,
I've
but
spent.
he doesn't have the goat. That's the problem.
Okay, but like, here's the thing. I have spent 200 years getting daggers stared at me by Theo. I don't give a shit.
No, yeah, you're totally used to it. But he knows He knows good enough that if he asked you to bring the goat with you, if it was around, you would have brought the goat. Reluctantly, but out of some misguided sense of respect.
Absolutely would have.
So since he doesn't see it, he knows the goat's actually missing.
So, Abraham, you finally arrive at the table, ignoring Theo's dagger glares the entire way. And you meet the other five, and you see the little mess in front of them. Well, Rebecca's just coming back with a drink.
This will, except for Theo, and probably Bjorn, to be honest, be the finest that you have seen Abraham dressed possibly ever? Because I don't usually dress this nicely, but goddamn, he looks nice right now.
I'm sorry, Abraham. Did we interrupt you in the middle of something?
No, you managed to put me out of something I didn't really want to be doing.
I thought all that
I mean,
hotel
he had it
was
out
you
earlier in
saving
the
on
evening, but
clothes
he
money.
didn't take it.
What did you say, Theo?
Sorry, I said he had it out earlier in the evening, but he didn't take it.
I had business prospects to worry about.
Don't act all high and mighty with me, Mr. Hobo. I have to feed on people who disrespect me.
Yeah, Rebecca will tilt her head at that.
Oh, I hate Theo so much. He's great.
Did I mention you look wonderful today? She will say very nervously as a direct response to him saying that you feed on people who disrespect you.
I will be actively flipping Theo off while thanking Rebecca.
Yeah, as a reminder for regular watchers, and anyone who's new tonight, Sabani's character Abraham as a Ventrue has to feed off of people who look down on him, which was easy as a black man quite a long time ago, but now is a little bit more difficult, especially with the wardrobe he can afford, so he often has to purposefully dress down, even to hobo level looking clothing and dirt on his face to potentially get a good feed.
Well, Abraham, not to rush away as soon as you sit down, but are we going to get out there and try and find these people, or are we just going to sit around here yakking?
What people are we talking about?
I'll catch you up. Sure.
How about we split into groups and the person who wants to explain to him can split into his group?
I'm just going to be texting kind of feverishly between like many different people asking about things. Spira, have I heard anything?
Yes, you're going to. I figured, give it a minute in game time. You guys probably still talking, and Theo's waiting to hear see if he hears back from anybody.
Well, what? Okay, 2 groups. Does that sound good?
There's 6 of us. We can do 3.
Or we can do 3. That sounds fine with me. Dinah, would you like to join me and we can try and find some of these masked men?
Certainly. Well, last time we got stuck in traffic, you're driving this time.
Well, I'm not sure how well driving's going to be tonight, but let's walk around for a little bit. How about that? And
yes, that sounds better.
he will kind of stand up and like try and rush this because he just wants to.
Yeah, no, Dinah wants to get out too. She's like, all right, we're done.
While you guys are rushing, trying to finalize your plans and everything, within another minute, Theo, you get one text message back that says, it gives you the name of a street that crosses with St. Charles Avenue, and the text does mention that they saw a man in all white with kind of that long-nosed looking mask, and they did in fact see some red and white beads on the guy's arm. Within another, well, actually, you wanted to speak, so go ahead.
Oh no, he keeps quiet on first information. Theo doesn't talk quickly.
All right. Another.
Before everyone leaves, unless they're all actually walking out the door in between these texts.
It looks like Luther and Dinah are gathering themselves, but I don't think they've left just yet. But within another 40 seconds or so, you get another text that sounds a little like, I'm not sure, but ... It actually is a text with details about a woman in a old style black dress, but she has a red mask on that looks very fancy, and she has some white and red beads.
I'll text them both back. I'm checking if this works. I'll owe you. And then look to the group. Everyone.
Yes.
What's up, Uncle Theo?
Yeah. Goats aside. We have
The
2
goats are always
sightings.
aside.
I swear, God. 2 sightings. One, and I'm gonna name the street where the white one was found. You didn't give me street, so whatever street.
I was actually trying to pull it up. I had a map earlier and I can't find it now.
No, it's okay. But whatever street it is, we have a long-nosed mask, all white, red and black beads at this location.
Red and white.
Sorry, red and white. My brain doesn't. It's like a sieve. It's fine.
That's why he has the text up.
And then I'll probably text them try to keep them there. If I find them, I'll owe you. But and another which was slightly unrelated, but would you describe the way it was described to me as gothic?
Yeah, no, it's kind of a gothic old dress, very billowy from the waist down. And she had a red, lacy mask, but she had what it sounded like the right beads.
And also some gothic lady, I guess, with a mask and black dresses, but also red and white beads. So we should probably check them both out, because I don't know. These are what my people found.
Okay, well, 2 sightings, so then just 2 groups?
I trust them. I put a pretty big carrot on this stick.
Well, okay. Yeah, let's do 2 groups. The young, and he'll kind of point at Rebecca, and the old. And he'll kind of give a hand towards Theo, Abraham, Bjorn.
I don't know if I'm
She's
offended, sir.
She's gonna turn to Theo and be like, all right, now, If you're lost, you can call me. It should be in your phone. You'll be fine. Don't just take your top off for anyone, Uncle Theo.
I will make
sure
your
it's the
arm
right
into a
man.
baby's arm. Say one more word. I dare you.
I
Also,
love you.
This works out
All
because
right, that's fine.
Rebecca and I have a meeting with the prince.
At Rebecca's snarky comments, Abraham will hide his mouth and do his best not to laugh.
Sorry, what were you saying, SCB?
Yeah.
I was saying, and this works out because Rebecca and I have a meeting with the prince at some time, so maybe it might happen tonight.
Oh. Okay.
What?
Well, he owes me a favor, and my favor was to give something to Rebecca, only something that the prince can do, and well, they have an arrangement that they can work out themselves.
I don't. My dad doesn't have to be there to give me away or anything, right?
Well,
What the hell do you get this Pop-Tart involved in her life? Now I wouldn't be surprised if she's dead by next Wednesday.
Come on, it's just something that needed to happen, Theo. And leave the man alone. He's a good man. He's just trying to look out for the city.
Yeah, a young fucker with a lot of enemies and people who are looking to get to the people who are friends with him. Trust me.
There might not be any connection between them two. If it's not like he is her daughter, or the other way around, sorry, that she is his daughter, they're not going to attack her just for no reason.
And this is a discussion for another day. Please go.
Is anyone going to explain to me what is going on?
Yes.
Sure,
Yeah, I told you I want my goat back.
I'm sure Theo and Bjorn can do that, Abraham, as you
I
guys
will look
walk
at
out.
Bjorn. Wait. Yeah, I will look at Bjorn and then just go.
Exactly, I can definitely explain exactly what is going on as we walk.
As they kind of make it out of the place, Rebecca's gonna
Actually,
kind of murmur over to.
Before we start separating, I will desperately look at Dinah, Rebecca, and Luther, hoping that one of them will give me a quick run through.
I've been trying to tell you 3 times in a row, and people kept stepping on Dinah. So she's like, "Fuck you! I'm not gonna tell you anything now."
And Luther is full on standing up, pulling out the chair for Dinah and Rebecca, and just it's time for us to.
Yeah. No, it's time to leave now. Bye. I'll text it to you.
Rebecca's gonna kind of murmur over to Luther. How young is the young? Dinah's like 100.
Yeah, well, it's in comparison. You see, the other two are much older than Dinah and I are, and obviously you as well.
All right, we've got our pairs. I just need to know who's going after what target.
Dinah does, in fact, text Abraham about the people and the red and white beads and the plague doctor guy. So you do get it, but it's in text.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Just real speedy.
Guy.
I'm not sure. Did Theo tell us about the black dress or no?
Yeah,
Yes.
I told you that there was both. That I didn't know necessarily if they're related, but there was a lot of black or red and white beads on the gothic-looking lady too.
I'm sure we'll just go to whichever address you give us. Which one is
Yeah. As a note, Abraham will message Dinah, "Thank you," and in all caps, "so much."
Yeah, Theo gave out 2 addresses, one for the person in white, and one for the person in black.
So yeah, who's going after who?
Let's go after the white.
Everyone stood up and left before figuring that out.
Yeah, we'll go for the man in white.
Thank you, because I was gonna say white guy and then I stopped.
Shirt guy, white guy, it's all the same.
As long as it's got a ponytail, it's probably the same dude.
Our more chocolatey inclined crew going after the white guy. Sounds about right.
And we'll take the lady in black.
All right. So, from the cocktail bar where you're at right now, the location of the guy in white, the one that sounded much more like Rebecca's initial description of what she was expecting, or what she saw in the memory of the item, is actually pretty close. The woman in black isn't much further, but it is a couple more blocks away. So they're both located in their most recent sightings in off streets of St. Charles Avenue. But the one is a little closer to the bar, and the other one's just a couple more blocks away. Timing wise, I've never been too concerned about gaming stuff unless it's specific days or hours are important. Was it?
And I did instruct the people who texted me that they found them to try and keep them busy and in around
Yeah.
the same place.
Yep, I heard that. So, let's see. What's up, Rebecca?
Does Rebecca have any memory of exactly how the guy who received the beads was behaving when he received them?
Physically not as much. You saw like a hand reaching out and taking it like from the actual first person perspective. But I'll say that you got a light-hearted attitude. They weren't on anything else other than maybe a couple drinks.
Okay.
So they were relatively sober-ish. Tipsy at most. Nothing crazy. Alright, okay. So, Dinah, Rebecca, and Luther, as one crew for the night. I see what I did there. Anyway, you start heading out into the streets. Sorry, Modi got me. So you head out into the streets in the direction that Theo explained from his text, where this man in white might happen to be. It's actually not very far away. It's about 3 blocks. Now it's packed. It's still very busy. The streets are even like starting to get a little hard to navigate just because of the trash that's starting to pile up as it is late on a night during Mardi Gras. The cleanup crews are waiting to pass through, but not just yet. And you start making your way through. You reach about the street where you're expecting, and look down it. It's almost kind of alley-ish, but you don't really see what you're looking for. So if the 3 of you continue on maybe another block and a half up, you're all keeping an eye out. Let's just see who finds it first. So Rebecca, Dinah, Luther, give me perception alertness at 5. You know what you're looking for, so let's just see who finds it first.
No.
Did you say a 5 difficulty?
Yeah, but you're not gonna have a botch. I just want to see like who.
Oh, I mean, I know I'm not gonna.
I mean, if you did, it'd be impressive. In fact,
For sure.
God, 10 dice. That is kind of beautiful, sir.
Yeah, Roland
I'm
had like
fairly
0.
certain that's better than anything.
I'm
that
pretty
Abraham can do.
sure Super Chocolate Bear was tired of not being able to roll well for that one. It was like all of it.
Roland was fucking blind, so I was
Yeah,
like,
pretty
yeah,
much.
you know what? Some of these points are gonna be a little better. This is a
No,
player.
actually, okay.
But it fits with a
Charisma
gambler,
sub-
like
okay.
a really good gambler. It works. I like it.
Yeah, no. The only thing Abraham can roll that well is like charisma,
Finances.
subterfuge, or finances. But it has to be a social finances roll.
Yeah.
He has to be bullshitting finances. He can't be knowing finances.
I am so into that kind of role, though. You've just described a scene I want to see.
Dinah, are you rolling? Dinah?
Yes, I'm sorry.
You're fine. I don't know if you'll beat Luther, but it'd be fun to see.
You'll,
I'm
in all
sorry.
likelihood, beat Rebecca, so.
It was perception alertness? Awareness?
Yeah, you know what you're
Alertness.
looking for. I just wanted to see, like, who was the one that was like, got it.
Oh my god!
Ooh. All right.
Oh wait, 4 successes.
Yeah, but
That's amazing.
yeah. So Rebecca, Dinah, and
I didn't need
Luther,
these aspects that time.
you're traveling up the street. You hadn't seen anything yet, and you didn't see it in the road you were told last time to look for. So you figure maybe he's moving the other direction. You keep traveling along. You finally spot a man in an all-white, very like period Gothic-esque costume, with a large, brimmed hat and that crow/plague doctor style mask. He's holding a bright bouquet of red flowers, kind of crooked in one arm, and the other arm, almost like a display, is, just adorned with a row of red and white beads. And you can even see at the bottom of them, they have that little, like, devil look, or devil pendant that Rebecca had described.
We never exactly discussed what happens when we find them.
Did you find him?
Rebecca, you and Dinah notice this guy.
Okay,
Wait,
so
I don't-
So
don't
you would
notice-
actually let Luther know. Unless Luther, you meant that, like, kind of downtime, like, let's talk while we walk?
I had 4 successes. How did I not?
no,
notice?
Luther noticed. See, I didn't succeed at all, so that's why.
Sorry. My mistake. So Luther and Dinah, you notice first. Basically the same time. Rebecca, you just happen to, like, maybe be looking in the opposite direction, didn't see it right away. But Luther, did you want to talk about this while you were walking? Or are you like...
No, like this would have actually
right
happened
now?
right when we saw him.
Okay.
He just would have been like, "Oh shit!" Like,
yeah.
all the combat people are
right.
fucking.
No, I mean, the guy's not running. He's kind of strolling casually, so you got time to talk.
But he will say that too, and Rebecca responded, so I can respond back to that. And he'll kind of like turn her and like face her head to look in his direction.
You think he likes boobs?
Oh, assuming so. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
He didn't seem to be. Did you see that he particularly required anything to hand out? Why don't we just try to get a hold of one of these necklaces?
Well, yeah. How does anybody get beads on Mardi Gras?
That's only in the French Quarter, and it's only spring break tourists, and you know that.
I wasn't saying that we're trying to stop him, right? We're not just trying to acquire his substances.
Sure, but I want to confirm that he is in fact handing it out first, so we need to get one and keep an eye on him. And if he is handing it out, then we can intervene.
Okay. Well, Rebecca, you're young. You get things like this, correct? You know how to work the situation.
You say I know how to work what?
I'm just saying he's a man who sells party favors, and you're someone who enjoys that lifestyle. Do you want me to go up there and buy him?
No, I mean, absolutely. If you can, but if I do, you have to look away because I'm pretty sure if you see anything, Theo might die.
Maybe that's not something he wants. Maybe he wants money. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just wants to spread chaos, is what I was saying. Maybe we could purchase them. But do one of you mind looking at his and he'll kind of like make a halo like
yes, I'm sorry. And so she does.
make sure he's not one of the mages that some along those lines.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna roll for aspects real fast. Which always really perception, empathy.
Yep. Against 8.
Bam! Shit, I hit the compounded button. So 1 was a 10, but so 1, 2, so 3.
Okay.
3.
Alright, so let me double check a chart real quick. Alright, you see the shade of the aura is human. It's not kindred. So it is a human walking in front of you. The color looks... It's kind of a gold hue, which you've come to understand has a weird spiritual tint. In someone very religious, it can be very clean. In someone who just has wavering ideals, it's just more like a goldish metallic color. That's kind of what you're seeing now. It's a little bit of a more fanatic coloring. And there's even some shift in the color, like random colors spike here and there, which usually has to do with a slightly unstable or confused mindset.
So he's a slightly confused or unstable.
Fanatic of a sort, yes.
Okay, but he doesn't have like pale splotches and not the sparkle.
Oh,
Sorry, Articus passed by and said something to me. Like,
yeah, pale splotches. Kind of looks a little dimmed in a way that isn't 100% human. Well, human, but you think he might be a ghoul.
So yeah, cool. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He looks like he's been cleaned by somebody, one of our kind.
Like a herd.
Like a ghoul.
Yeah, well, and he'll kind of look confused about what we need to do about the situation. Well, okay. First things first. Let's just see if we can. Let's see if it's him. Maybe it's not him. Rebecca, do you need assistance acquiring?
Go with them.
Not if you want to lift my shirt for me. I can do that myself.
I still am not 100% that is what this man wants.
It's a joke, hon.
If he could blush, he would.
Yeah, no, Rebecca will nod to them and begin walking towards the guy.
Alright, the man is just kind of weaving like throughout the crowd. I was trying to say wavering and weaving. This didn't work out. But he's just moving throughout the crowd. He does look like he's kind of scanning people, though, a little bit. But he's facing a little bit away from you, so he doesn't see you as you approach.
Yeah, no. She'll tap him on the shoulder and smile.
He turns around, sees you smiling, and since you actually, tried to gain his attention, he gives a little bow, the one hand behind the back, and says,
"Yeah.
How are you this evening?"
"I'm great," and she is going to curtsy, but she does not have any dots in etiquette and does not know how to curtsy, so it's not good.
That's horrible.
But he just gives a very, joyous kind of laugh at that. "And what can I do for such a beautiful young lady?" And while the one arm is draped in beads, he uses that hand, though, to pull a flower out of his bouquet and hand it to you.
She takes it and says, "Oh, thank you. I wanted to know if I could have one of the beads."
One of these, he says in a very kind of, gestury circus way, and he lifts up his arm and lets them kind of clank together. It's cheap plastic, but they still kind of, clink
I mean,
together.
it's fun. Yeah.
Exactly. And he then, puts his arm away quickly and says, "Oh, but these aren't just for anybody."
Okay. What do I have to do?
Well, how about you, and he pulls them out again to show them off. Tell me why you want them, and he looks down at them. Why are these beads special to you?
Well, they kind of look neat, and my collection is pretty bare, so. Also, you gave me a flower, and I want a little more to remember you by.
Here's a pretty, another joyous laugh at that. Well, you see, there's a little secret to these beads, and he again kind of like shakes his arm to jingle them.
Okay, do I have to solve a riddle?
Oh, no. The riddle comes along with them for free. The thing is, do you want to know what's inside the beads? Do you want to explore something different? Do you want to see things a different way?
Only always.
Are you telling me you're someone who likes to explore different perspectives and see the world for what it might be on its head?
Absolutely. You're only selling me more and more.
He grins huge. Most of his face is really covered by this mask, but you can see his mouth, and even like the part that's cut out for his eyes, you see his eye crinkle excitedly. He uses his other free hand to take off one of the beads and, drapes it around your neck, and then just with one single finger kind of taps at the little devil pendant and says, "Your secret waits inside." And he turns to walk off.
Okie doke. She is going to let him because the vampires, I guess, aren't. Are they just watching? Are they just watching this
Dinah
happen?
will kind of follow him from the other side of the street, yeah.
Yeah, we're just walking together. Keep an eye on you, making sure you're safe.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed the initial interaction. Was my guy still there keeping the person busy? Or girl?
Your person. Well, Rebecca, Luther, and Dinah don't know what they look like.
I know, I'm asking you, was my guy or girl still there keeping them busy?
They were following along to try and keep track of what street they were on, yeah.
But they weren't I asked them to keep them busy, engage with them. They weren't engaged, so they're not still around, or?
This is slightly out of character context, but they tried to talk to the person. They didn't want to take one of the things, so they decided to just be in the crowd and follow.
Okay. I would expect an update on what's happening.
Yeah, so they
You can just do it after. We'll let them do their scene.
that's fine.
I'm just making sure my person is still around the area to tell me what's going on.
Yes. I'm gonna continue with this group for a moment longer before we talk with the old boys. But Dinah, so yeah, you either cross over or continue with the crowd, because the crowd, it's the sort of street that you can still kind of walk in and out. So you follow along more nonchalantly, just keeping an eye on. Luther, are you keeping a further distance?
No, I would have been walking with Dinah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have probably have my arm in his arm.
Nice. All right, well, Rebecca, other than following this guy more, you now have one of the necklaces with a full pendant attached. And if you look at it, you can tell it's like a cheap plastic locket that can be opened, but it opens from the bottom. The top part is closed and wrapped around the string. That's why you figure most people have taken it off and it got lost on most of the necklaces.
Yeah, she will open that sucker up.
All right, inside there is a small piece of paper folded up. And if you open it up, there is a little kind of poem that reads, red as a beet, dry as a bone, blind as a bat, mad as a hatter. And underneath the paper is a small chalky pill, almost looks like one of those cheap flavored vitamins for kids. But it's kind of purple in color with dark brown, maybe some black flecks in it.
Okie doke. I want to do a magic thing to understand
Sure.
what the heck this is.
Okay.
Flat matter 1.
Okay. Now, I've really done my mage homework, but I'm trying to consider how much knowledge you can gain from what's inside it with that. That's kind of just basic understanding.
Let me pull up to give you an exact understanding of it. Because usually what people do will see the quality of a particular object and whether or not it's something like organic or...
Okay, if you're just trying to tell that it's organic and not like a synthesized drug, because you're sure it's a drug anyway, I'm not even gonna flounce about that. It does have a very, very organic base. It's only gone through some minor process to kind of turn it into a pill. It's not like LSD that's fully synthesized. There's I'll even say there's a plant base to it. But I would probably need a more complicated roll for you to find out more about it.
All right. So just going based on what the book says, and I'm trying to rack my brain on what a more complicated role would look like, because I don't mind, but basically matter 1 lets you know what the properties of the object are.
Okay, in that case, all I want is an intelligence. Let's go with medicine roll, because there's no real herbology outside Dark Ages. But I think since you do meddle with drugs and intoxicants, that'll count for you.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
4.
All right. You very easily solved what I wasn't worried being too much of a complicated mystery. There's more to this still, so I'm not too worried. But Rebecca, you just like maybe like kind of just rub your finger over this pill and apply your knowledge with your magic. And you immediately recognize that besides some calcium and basic, binding agents to make this a little like kind of pill that's easily digestible, the main ingredient is a strain of Datura, which is basically part of the Nightshade family, which easily leads to what you've seen so far or have heard from other people: high temperature, dehydration, delirium, and potential hallucinations. But the fact that these people have had strong hallucinations, I want to say hallucinogenics, but hallucinations from what you've heard of the reports and a couple things you've seen, this has definitely been expertly refined.
Okie doke. She will close it very carefully. You know what? She's going to remove the pendant from the necklace and then, really carefully, and then put that in her purse. All of it, but just keep them separate.
Okay.
And then head back to Luther and Dinah.
I will say real quick, with a, just give me a wits roll at 4.
Heck yeah.
It's one of those things that, like, you could maybe fail, but it should be easy. Perfect. All right, so after you realize what drug it is, and it's one you know about and have read about, as a less than preferable hallucinogen, but one that's technically not illegal. People can actually get the seeds from this plant and use them for this purpose. This one has been refined in a way you haven't seen before, but you recognize what it is. The little poem that says, red as a beet, dry as a bone, blind as a bat, mad as a hatter, you realize refers to the heightened temperature, the dehydration, the dilated pupils that cause very confused sight even if the person isn't in a daze, and of course hallucinations. Try not to say hallucinogens.
All right, yeah. Awesome.
Now, this all happened while our intrepid senior crew of Theo, Bjorn, and Abraham were heading off in their own direction. Heading off toward where you believed this other woman was. Similarly, just give me a perception alertness at 5 to see who maybe spots her soonest, because you're heading in the direction where she should be, not far after getting that text.
5 successes.
Nice. Eagle-eyed bard over here.
Ah! Only
So close.
3. Shucks.
3. Sorry, 2.
Alright, so Theo, Abraham, Bjorn, very similar to the previous crew, you start heading up the streets from the club that you were previously at, looking out for a lady in black with a red mask and the beads that you were told of. Bjorn, you see her from almost like 2 blocks away. As soon as like people part enough that you can catch that dress and the mask and the color of those beads on her arm, you see her right ahead of you.
So I'll immediately point her out to the other 2 and just, I'm pretty sure that's her. What's the plan?
I am barely aware of what is going on, to be fair. All I know is there is someone that is in a plague doctor costume doing things or something.
And apparently he has they have an accomplice, this woman in the black dress, who as well is handing out these beads. And they're...
Okay, what are the beads?
Don't know, but there's something on them that is getting people high in a very bad way.
Okay, thank you.
I do not appreciate people coming into my town and ruining this holy day. So my vote is I will make her arms and legs half the size they're supposed to be, and when she's screaming in agony, crawling on the floor, we ask who she works for. Also, I want my goat back.
Well, if she has your goat, I'm sure we'll get it.
I will make her ears explode with the brains.
I feel like that would cause problems to get information from.
Sounds good. And with that, Bjorn will just, handful of beads, just start walking very quickly after this woman.
I'll follow Bjorn.
Very similar, not that you know this, but to the guys. She's just kind of preambling and looking through the crowd for, people that may or may not catch her eye. She has long, luscious blonde hair and a few flowers in the crook of her free arm. The other one's still laden with about maybe 20 beads.
As I come up to her, I'm
Hold
gonna
on, no, real quick, before you actually go up to her. I know what Abraham can do for the most part, right? I'd assume we've been friends long enough. We trust each other.
I honestly don't think there's much that you wouldn't know that I know.
And same as the other way, but you have Auspex, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would grab Bjorn, I'd grab you by like the elbow and like pull you back and slow you down. Abraham, what are we dealing with? You would know that I mean like check this out for us first.
Yeah, what do you Oh, of course. And I would like to try Aspect.
Aura?
Yes.
Kiki?
That's what
I can usually tell what you guys mean when you say that. I just wanted to check. Perception, empathy right? With 8 difficulty. Which, you know what? I think I might even retcon that down to 7. That's kind of high for level 2, but whatever.
Alright, so that is...
I mean, you guys are fine usually
one
anyway.
Success. Or, if you're going to retcon it down, 3 successes. Like, up to you.
You're trying to read the lady?
Yeah, trying to read the lady that is our focus right now. So 1 at 8, 3 at 7.
I'm gonna think about it after the game, but for now, I am gonna give you the same thing. I think it was Dinah saw. It was this kind of dim but gold look that reminds you of spirituality, or at least fanaticism, mixed with some abnormal colors that don't match that or her other, current state of mood and emotional status that could remind you of confusion or possible delirium. But she doesn't seem like the people who are on the drug. She just seems maybe a little aloof and uncertain. And pale splotches, meaning she's probably a ghoul.
Right. This woman is probably a ghoul. She seems to be very faithful in terms of religion, and also confused. I'm not sure. She's odd, to say the least. Probably the person we are looking for, though, because
I'll nod to Bjorn and let go of his elbow, like not holding him, symbolically not holding him back anymore, and go for. I think we can work with that.
And with that, I will grab the beads, pocket the ones that are the red and white obvious ones, and approach her, hand out with the beads. Just, hey, cutie.
I will separate myself from Theo and where Bjorn came from in case this doesn't work out, so we can have a second try.
All right. The young woman turns around. She has the bouquet of flowers, crooked in one arm. She has a single one in the hand of the other arm, draped with beads. Kind of places it close to her nose and smells it, smiling at Bjorn. Hello. What's up, Theo?
Real quick, I will text. I'm assuming I would recognize, at least in a passing state, the person I told to keep an eye on this girl. Because remember, I told them both, on both sides, I said keep them busy or in the same spot.
Yes.
But I would leave Abraham, let Bjorn go to her, and I would go to that person and just sort of like stand near them and say, just watch us, but stay away.
It is a younger woman that looks like not necessarily in the throes of homelessness, but probably couch surfing. Her clothes look like she's worn them quite a while. Some holes. Has obviously a backpack with her. And just nods as she like leans against a light pole.
I will actually, with the description, because that's the way Theo is. With that description, I would actually like walk up and like kiss her hand, and actually leave a gold, about the size of a dime, gold piece in her hand, and tell her that I owe her, but keep an eye on everything that happens from here on out.
She's going to squeeze your hand very tightly in a way to, like, not say anything to, you know, disrupt this scene that's happening, but to show her appreciation. So Bjorn, you've caught the attention of the young woman. She seems aloof in a, you know, lighthearted, airy way. Mostly seems to have her wits about her, but is definitely almost alight with fervor for the season happening around her.
Smiling, I'm just gonna hold the beads up and kind of half-heartedly shake them at her. Just be like, would a lovely woman like yourself be looking for some additional beads?
She holds the single flower in her hand to her lips and giggles slightly. No, I am the one giving them out. And she kind of shakes her arm a little bit, showing off her bounty.
Sure, why not? And with that, he'll pull up his shirt and kind of give her a little show.
You go, Bjorn.
She practically drops the flower she was holding while she was, you know, trying to put on a show. She just lets out a very genuine laugh, clutches the armful of the beads to her chest, and continues to laugh for a moment. That's alright, not a bad sight, but that's not what I'm here for. What are you seeking this evening? Zawani, what's up?
I am listening with enhanced hearing aspects.
KK.
And I'm making my way towards Bjorn now after talking to the girl, however the timeline works out. I'm walking up next to Bjorn, so whenever I'm close enough, she'll notice me.
Oh, you're trying to join him, not just be nearby?
No, yeah, I'm walking right up to them.
Okay. So Abraham otherwise is more blended in with the crowd listening.
Yeah, I have probably pulled off my jacket, tossed it aside, ruffled up my clothes a little bit, pulled off my top to kind of be, you know, just
grab some trash.
Yeah, I'm making myself fit in a little bit better than.
If only there was a dirty goat for you to hug.
How about suck a dick, Theo?
Only if it's yours, darling.
Alright, children. Abraham's scruffing himself up, but listening at a mild distance to hear what's going on. Bjorn, you've caught the lady's attention, and she's, you know, starting to wave her wares around. Theo, a second later, comes up on your side, still holding his mask, because no one's, you know, punched him or done anything weird yet, so...
So last thing she said is, what are you looking for, right?
Yes, what are you looking for tonight?
Oh, nothing too fancy. Same as most people. A good drink, a little bit of enjoyment, and, so far it seems like I'm, doing well. So about your beads.
She stops walking, kind of does a, you know, little turn on her heel, and fully faces Bjorn, just as Theo walks up and says, "Oh, but wouldn't you like to try something new?" Yes?
As I walk up to Bjorn, I'm gonna put my arm through his and go, "Oh, hey, darling."
You know,
The masked woman just smiles wider, but doesn't, take any, doesn't see this as anything strange at all.
I have experienced quite a lot in my life, but I'm always up for new experiences.
Oh my god, is this something new for us?
We'll see, won't we?
Oh my god, is this gonna be better than the last thing we take?
Please
Talk.
don't. Please don't make us lose followers. But okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't know ultra feminine zombie was a problem.
No, I've
John,
no,
check
I've
your languages.
I've certainly done that fella. I've met that fella more times than I can count. Anyway,
Listen, I live with that man, okay? So I don't want to hear it. My uncle is that guy. And I love him deeply.
I do too. All right. So Theo is pulling this cover with Bjorn, and the masked lady is just entirely loving this little couple before her. She takes her hand that had previously been holding a flower, now free, and pulls off 2 strings and dangles them before Theo and Bjorn. These 2 are for you, if you would like, but they're not for the weak at heart.
So while she's holding out, I'm going to take a look over them and see if I can notice the missing inch.
Yeah, exactly where you would have noticed that on the previous ones has kind of a cute little cartoony devil pendant that actually looks almost like it has it's white, so it looks like it can actually open. There's like kind of a line in it, in that missing spot.
Well, honey, I don't often worry about my heart giving out on me.
And without saying another word, she hands the 2 beads to the 2 of you and begins walking off again into the crowd.
No, hold on. Whoa.
I said she starts.
Okay, this interaction is going to go like this. She starts to, he says, "I don't worry about my heart giving out." I'm going to touch her hand in like a, "Oh, darling," kind of way. "Oh, we can handle it." And Thanatosis 6?
Can you
Oh, look
tell?
at Mr. Elder level powers here.
I didn't say, like, you can't, but what are you doing?
So Thanatosis 6 is Thanatosis powers time delayed. Meaning that her arm will essentially fall off in a couple hours. I think, and the books are vague and not consistent between different books. So this is a you call, but whatever you're comfortable with, essentially, she's going to get very fucking sick within a few hours, or up to 24 to 48 hours.
I would have to double check the books because yes, Samedi were like barely written about beforehand. They got updated for V20, so I will follow up on that myself. But I'm all good to say you've left her with a time curse that is going to do some major damage to that arm one way or the other in a set amount of time.
Lots of, well, okay, and again, we'll chat about the specifics later, but it can go from disease to specific limb targeting, depending on how you're going to rule on this, I would decide. But essentially, she's in not a good place if I don't contact her again, and shortly. Within 24 hours, I'd say.
Okay, but
I
are
have a
you
choice.
going to then, like, leave her something for that?
Oh no, I just assumed to learn, hopefully, about some woman showing up in a paramedic's place with gangrene over 99% of her body that's gonna kill her in a day.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm leaving my calling card, and I cash this check before people know what it looks like.
Perfect. Otherwise, You and Bjorn can fall back. Abraham, you've been watching all of this happen. And Theo and Bjorn, you have 2 copies of these beads with the pendants intact. I'd say that will line up just with the time that Rebecca, Dinah, and Luther had already discovered the person, got the pill and the poem, and Rebecca was able to actually check the thing. If you guys wanted to text about meeting up. Not saying you will, just saying, like, I'm now letting you know that's the time.
Before they get the chance to get on their phones, I will grab my jacket again from the... Oh, we lost somebody.
SCP.
We lost. Oh.
What?
No.
Oh, no. But while we're waiting, I will grab my jacket from wherever it is that I stowed it because it was expensive. And I will approach Theo and Bjorn and ask, so when are the upcoming nuptials?
In his best, absolutely most flamboyant voice. Don't be jealous, darling. I'm still gonna suck you off.
Don't worry,
Let's
I
not
just need
lose
to know.
all of our...
We already lost monetization on YouTube, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I just need to know when to prep for the wedding.
Yeah, you'll know because I'll be in your bedroom. And then he'll kind of drop it and look over at Bjorn. I left her something, and I'll tell my people what to look out for, so...
Really?
If we don't get back to her, I promise you it won't be pretty.
Bye, Char. Or Super Chocolate Bear. Really, Theo?
Oh, no!
Leave that...
Well,
Do you have to leave that with every mortal you come across?
She was hardly a model, and also, and I'll look at Bjorn, the question I wanted answered was, who is your master and what does he do, not, can I have beads?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
I feel like I was trying to
Sorry.
tell, but okay.
I know, I couldn't resist. Alright, we'll wait another second. Hey, Char? You still with us on voice?
I think he may have died.
He's not in voice.
Okay. I will... We're pretty near the end, so I'll try to, like, just fix the cameras real quick to wrap this up anyway. So, hold on 1 second. Alright, we're still with the old crew, though, so...
Yep.
Continue your current, like, thoughts and concerns about what you're gonna do. You gained 2 beads. And then also, we lost Luther, but Dinah and Rebecca, at least, you've got this information as well. Do you want to, like, text them? What do you want to do?
I will ask for one of the sets of beads, actually.
And he'll...
I'll hand mine over.
I will, Auspex 3 it. Which, don't offhand know what the role is for that.
Oh, and while he hands it over, I'll just be like, that part right there, do not touch. And point to that inch with the symbol on it.
I'll smile as I hand my set over to Abraham and go, lick it. Do it. Lick it.
Of course, give me a moment.
No, I meant the beads.
Yes, of course, give me a moment. Spirit's touch is perception empathy, varies with age is the difficulty. Don't know what that means specifically.
Sorry, what were you trying to do again?
Spirit's touch, Auspex 3, look into the history of an item. And the difficulty is perception empathy versus varies with age is what the Excel sheet you have for us says.
And you're checking the bead?
Well, like I want to, the necklace first, like the necklace itself first, and then like if I get absolutely nothing, maybe consider the part that Bjorn told me not to touch, but like first the necklace. To see the history of the item or the necklace itself.
I would probably inform you as well, Abe, while you're, just in passing,
Yeah.
that I left I would usually say the thing like my gift. So just let you know, like, I left my gift.
Because we already had the, really, you have to do that with every motel you pass? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what the difficulty would be?
And I would probably text Jess? Or, sorry, not Jess. Rebecca? The names. My God. Stop playing different people. How dare you? I'd probably text Rebecca, Lady in Black found. Promise you I can find her again. How did yours go?
Sorry, I was trying to fix the cameras because I did want to play another 10 minutes at least. So anyway, what was the last question I got asked?
Okay. So what I am doing is I am taking the necklace, not the not the important bit, and I am going to use Auspex 3, which is the look at the history of an item.
Yes.
Versus, which is perception, empathy versus, and the spreadsheet you have for us varies with the age of the item, so I don't know what the difficulty would be.
Okay, I would say 6 because that's the standard. I think the idea would be difficulty might go up with like age against your understanding of history.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Now I gotta fix all the cameras again. But do that.
Rebecca will text Theo back. It's Datura.
He will literally text back, not your cat, the lady.
Oh my God, I love Theo.
She's not gonna respond.
I'm trying so hard not to make Theo annoying. Like, I'm trying to spread it thin enough.
No, but like he's the worst and I love it.
I mean, none of you had the idea to play a syphilitic vampire, so...
I have a syphilitic ninja vampire on standby, ready to go.
I'm sorry, did you say syphilitic ninja vampire?
Yeah.
Because one-upping everything.
There is a YouTube video by the company that makes the Gamers movies, and it's a series of YouTube videos called Syphilitic Ninja Vampires. It's literally just ninja vampires that like scratch their junk occasionally, doing excessively mundane things like returning a video to a video store. And I built an entire character concept around it that is totally serious and in no way jokey. And I love him and would like to play him at some point.
I don't know how much I believe you, sir.
Wait until after stream. I will give you the story. Because I don't want to take like stream up.
Alright, if the old guy crew could continue without me for half a second about what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm just...
As he is in the middle of his, the role which ends all roles, apparently. I'll just look at Bjorn and I'll go, good acting.
Thanks.
Reminds me of the 40s. Do you remember the 40s?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Which 40s are you talking about?
No, that was like 2 weeks. Shut up! That was like 2 weeks.
Obviously the 1840s when we were down in Alabama for that one weekend.
No. Just remember the 1840s are entirely different from the 1940s.
No,
they were very, very different.
Alright,
I regret the 1940s.
Abraham, Bjorn, and Theo.
Yeah.
Bjorn, you got those 2 beads.
Yes.
You went and reconnected with you and Abraham?
Yes. Theo then gave me one of the sets of beads, and I read it past.
No, I know
With
you
3
you did the
successes.
whole acting
Yeah.
thing. I meant, like, did you guys gather again, or are you following the girl at all?
Yeah.
We gathered, and both of us gave our beads directly to Abraham.
Okay.
So he has 2 sets of beads now.
And I wanted to follow up, did Rebecca, Luther, or Dinah text anyone about, like, what they found?
Yeah. Rebecca texted back Theo and said, it's Datura.
Yep.
And I texted her, not your cat.
I was gonna say, I don't think
she did not respond.
Dinah and I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, she is making her way over to you guys.
Yeah.
And Theo also was legitimately, he doesn't know what you're talking about. Like, he's crazy on a normal day, sure, but like he flat out was like, are you telling me your cat's spirit name? Because I don't get it.
Yeah, no. She's like, basically she saw that and was like, I'm not going to argue this over text. We can talk about this in person.
Alright. Well, at this point, I thought this night's mystery might have maybe wrapped up if things went a certain way, but as we do on our channel, our characters are too fun to not hang out with. Hey, we got 6,660 viewers total. Anyway, sorry, I just looked over. Anyway, yeah. So this Monday prior to Fat Tuesday is going to be another night to find out what happens with this little mystery. But my intrepid kindred and mage did do a great job kind of following up on this mystery, and they'll see what happens next week with exactly who, what, and when and where and why and all the other things this drug is being distributed and what's going on. And yeah, hope you tune in to see that. As usual, we want to thank everybody who watches us live on Twitch. We love you guys. We're so happy to see you in chat and chat with you. So awesome to see you here. Everybody who watches on YouTube, we also appreciate you checking us out, and we love your comments. We're always happy to, reply to you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I usually respond as quickly as I can. All of our information about our Discord, where we chat not just about our games, but tabletop in general, video games, any kind of fun stuff you want to talk about. What?
Memes,
all the memes. We got a nice meme channel going on. But yeah, we have a Discord channel, a Twitter, all the fun links on both Twitch and YouTube down below in the descriptions on our page. Check them out. Join us. We really do like talking with you guys. If you like World of Darkness, D&D, got a new game going. See you on Fridays for that. Yeah, we just really enjoy talking with you, hearing your point of views. We're super open. We just want to have fun with everybody. I think that's it, if I'm not missing anything. Production manager? I always get yelled at by him, though. Okay, we're good. So,
subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. We got demonetized because YouTube is doing stupid shit. So even if you only watch on Twitch, it's appreciated if you don't mind.
Yeah, we need like 500 more, and then we'll never ask again.
Seriously, just what?
We'll ask when they up it to 2,000.
Yeah, no, we don't even care. We just, if you like us, subscribe. It's cool. We love you. If you don't, whatever, cool. Anyway.
Honestly, those of you who, and you'll catch us later on YouTube, but those of you who watch us on YouTube, thank you so much. We are the 1% on YouTube. The 1% of channels that way surpass every metric except subscriber number.
Yeah,
so,
we actually...
All right. to get the begging down, yeah, we would love if you subscribe on YouTube because we could use the numbers. And just, like to see if you like our channel. Other than that, we will catch all y'all peoples next week. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We love you all. We'll see you in the Discord if you join us. Talk to you there. Otherwise, see you on Twitch or YouTube. Bye!
Bye bye.